Welcome everyone to my book launch event. Every single person here today will get a $597 gift for free. It's sitting right here. You'll be able to keep an eye on it the entire time. Just so you know it's legit, this is something I already sell for $597 every single day. And at the end of this live stream, I'll show you how to get it for free. So watch out for that. Today, you will learn the 4 steps to build a business that makes over $3 million in annual revenue. I'll show you how to copy and paste your business model over and over again to build an empire. I will launch the blueprint and give away tens of thousands of copies. So we'll be unveiling that shortly. I will reveal a massive announcement. I've been working on this for years. No one, besides my team, knows about this. Not even my own family. My name is Mike Andes, in case you don't know who I am. I'm the founder of Augusta Lawn Care and Copilot CRM. For the first time ever, I will be giving away the secrets to how I built a 200 location franchise and how you can do the same thing. I will present today, so I'll be seeing you all in the chat up there, but I won't be responding today. But next Wednesday, I will do another live stream and answer the top questions from today's chat. So definitely for everyone that has introduced themselves, told us where you're coming from, what business name you are, welcome. I will be getting to the chat and the team will be monitoring that today. But then on Wednesday, I will answer the top questions as well as do a live Q&A show based on everything we learned today. Now, if you're anything like me, you want to do these things. 1, grow revenue. 2, grow profit. And 3, not work 80 hours every week trying to do those first 2. However, most home service businesses hit revenue ceilings, have profit margins under 10%, and the owner can't take a 2-week vacation without everything falling apart. And that is why I am on a mission to make home service business owners rich. That is why landscapebusinesscourse.com is completely free, showing you how to start a lawn care or landscaping business and scale it past $100,000 in monthly revenue, completely free. That is why MBAforentrepreneurs.com is free, taking everything I learned in my MBA classes in 2 years and shrinking it down to what you need for your small business. Hundreds of videos completely free. That is why the off-season workshop. That is why the turnaround course is all free on YouTube and on MikeAndes.com. That is why I built Custom AI. I trained it on over 20 million words. It includes all my books, my courses, and all my videos. And you actually find it at MikeAndes.com/AI, completely free. It coaches hundreds of business owners every single day. In the past 6 to 7 months that we've had it in operation, over 57,000 business owners have been helped using the AI. It can take your financial statements and give you recommendations for free. This is an actual screenshot from last week where someone imported their profit and loss statement and Mike AI was able to give recommendations based on everything that I teach. The 4L framework, everything that I talk about, was able to give them feedback on what they can do next in their business to improve that profit and loss statement. It can create your email and text marketing campaigns. This is another screenshot of someone from last week getting their Facebook ad copy, their emails, their text messages, all of that built for them by Mike AI, completely free. It can also tell you how to improve your website. So this is, again, someone screenshot their website, input it into Mike AI, and immediately it was able to give them 5 or 6 tangible things to improve their SEO, their search engine optimization, and improve their load speed and making sure that their design of the website was optimized for converting clicks into leads. This is why in the past 12 months, I have spent $1,611,000 on creating free content for this industry. Some people said it was for the YouTube money. Well, in the past 12 months, I did about 59 million views on YouTube. But I only made $91,000 from AdSense in the ad revenue. So not a great investment. We have traveled across the country visiting over 100 struggling businesses, free of charge. All of that was done for free, and the traveling across the country, spending that money was to help these business owners. But I am not Mother Teresa. I want to make money, just like you. In 2024, Augusta Lawn Care did $54 million in annual revenue. This year, significantly more, but that will be posted on the next 2025 release of Landscape 100, because that's where we ranked. We ranked 70th on the Landscape 100 for the first time, and they did me dirty on the portrait. Like on the cover, goodness, look, check this out. I don't know if I'm 50 years old there or what, but they did me dirty there. We were also ranked in the Franchise 500 at Augusta Lawn Care. You can see here, we were ranked 346 out of the top 500 franchises in the world. We outranked this franchise brand, 1-800-GOT-JUNK. We outranked this franchise brand, La Quinta by Wyndham. We outranked this franchise brand, H&R Block. We outranked this franchise brand, Dave's Hot Chicken. We even outranked this franchise brand, US Lawns. But enough about me. You came here to learn how you can grow your business. Today, you will learn how to build a home service empire that makes over $3 million in annual revenue, regardless of what industry you're in. And these are all the industries that are represented here today, as of last week, registered for today's live stream. Residential cleaning, lawn care, handyman, painting, carpentry, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, roofing, siding, pest control, flooring, windows, gutters, insulation, pool maintenance, home security, disaster restoration, carpet and duct cleaning, hardscaping, pressure washing, and soft wash. Regardless of what industry you're in, regardless if you are starting as a solo operator or if you already have an 8-figure business in place. Today, there is something for everyone. Now for the main event. Today, you will learn how to build a home service empire that makes over $3 million in annual revenue. There are 2 profitable ways to do this. 1, build one location to over $3 million in annual revenue with middle management. And we're going to talk about how exactly you can do this. The second way to do this is have 3 to 5 locations that produce about $750,000 to $1 million each. I call these methods the copy and paste millionaire method. These 2 ways of building a $3 million home service business. Today, you will learn how to create systems to get out of the field, systems to get out of daily operations, and systems to have the business run when you're gone. I grew my business revenue over $3 million when I realized one thing. I was not in the service business. I was actually in the systems business. Everyone always told me to work on my business, not in it, whether it be social media or reading books like The E-Myth. But they never told me what to work on. So yes, I understand I should work on my business and not in it. But what does that mean? Today, we will answer that question. I will show you an operating system that helps you grow your business without breaking. Because that is what happens if you fail to adopt the copy and paste millionaire mindset. Broken families, broken relationships, broken bodies, knees and shoulders and elbows as you begin to age. If you don't adopt these mindset of the copy and paste millionaire, this is what happens. Broken mental health, missed birthdays, missed vacations, missed date nights with your significant other, and missed school plays. This is what happens if you fail to adopt the copy and paste millionaire mindset. So if you're just, you logged in and you're like, why should I stay? I want to address that. First off, I'm going to break down exactly how to think like a copy and paste millionaire to build the $3 million business using these 2 methods. You will get the step-by-step system to build a $3 million home service business that runs without you. And I will reveal a secret project I've been working on for 6 years. And just as a side note, next week, it's going to cost $40,000, but not on this live stream. So you'll want to stick around till the end. I also have an announcement I've been waiting to make for 22 months. And last, I'm going to be asking you to join me on my mission to make home service business owners rich. So that's what you can expect from today's live stream. I wrote other books, and they've addressed big problems in the home service industry. Let's see here. Got the Total Business Turnaround book. This gave the 13 different steps to turn around a struggling business. It shared the formula that I used to turn around over 100 businesses, and those are the businesses that I showed on my YouTube channel. P for P, why hourly is a failing formula. That book really addressed insufficient labor and the inefficiency that all of us have with our employees out in the field and our technicians. It created a system for your employees. The harder you work, the more money you make. That's how I like to explain pay for performance, or what we call P for P. The harder you work, the more money you'll make. I also recently published The Off-Season, Why Home Services Are a Terrible Business. The Off-Season book showed 5 ways every home service business could stay profitable year-round. Because the off-season is what makes many home service industries unprofitable and honestly, a pretty terrible business. It demonstrated how to grow when your competition is shrinking. When your competition is selling off their trucks, laying off their employees, how can we actually grow during that time? But I've never shared what to do if you already have a successful business. How do you scale it? How do you copy and paste that success? I've never shared the secret sauce that built Augusta Lawn Care. From one location to over 200 locations around the world. Until now. And that's what this live stream is all about. See, I started with one location. This is actually my 6x12 enclosed trailer that I purchased, I believe it was for $1,800. It might have been $1,500. And parked it here at a local storage facility for $40 to park it there. And then the truck that I would pull the trailer with, I just drive that home back and forth. And you can see here this logo, the font, the flag, very similar to Augusta National. So very quickly got a cease and desist from them saying you cannot use that font, you cannot use that flag. So I swapped the logo out. You can see the font changed, but still held on to my white coverall overall situation for my uniform. So that was crazy, but this is me getting started when I first started Augusta Lawn Care. And we actually work in those uniforms, believe it or not. And the way to wash them, we'd literally stick them in bleach. Crazy. And here we are with a trencher. I think we were probably doing irrigation or something of that nature, doing all sorts of services in white coveralls. Now, we started with one location and finally figured out, as we began to get more than a couple employees, that white uniforms, not a great match. So we finally figured out green and switching the brown pants. We got a little shop space there, started selling mulch and rock and soil. We finally got to almost $1.5 million in revenue. I was still broke. There's a picture of the team at that time. Some of the pictures are on the skid steers, around the shop space. And we offered all sorts of complex and custom services. On the left there, you can see the tree chipper. And then I think that one in the middle is me out salting in the middle of the night of a snowstorm. And then on the right-hand side, you can see the excavator. We were building this massive boulder wall. And I actually remember this job because that trailer was so overloaded with weight, it probably had about 20,000 pounds at least in it. And I remember trying to put it in park, the truck, all the wheels locked and sliding along the gravel driveway there towards the crevice, the ravine off to the right-hand side. Freaky, using the excavator. It was bad. We did snow plowing. On the left-hand side there, you can see them out in a snowstorm with one of the big dump trucks. We even did hydro seeding. I almost forget about this. It's one of those things you try to block it from your memory. Trying to clean that thing out was a joke, but we did hydro seeding. And finally, it caught up with me. And I shared this story specifically in the book. This is a putting green, our very first putting green we ever installed. And I ended up having to give back 100% of the revenue back to the customer. Because we installed this putting green. A few months later, my manager that was in charge of the artificial turf division moved away. And I was stuck trying to fix drainage at this site, and I didn't know what I was doing. None of my crew knew what we were doing because we were doing these complex services like artificial turf and putting greens and adding everything to the business that added complexity. And I remember giving that check back to that customer and knowing that I had to change the type of services we were offering. I gave 100% of the revenue back, knowing I couldn't get the turf to stretch nicely and not have wrinkles because of the drainage. And it finally caught up with me again. Because even though we started to simplify some of the services, I was still involved heavily in the business. I would drive to every single job in the morning and show the crew the project. And one day, that dump truck there in the middle, I was driving that. It's like a Ford L7000, 1990. Drove it to a job site, had 3 yards of cobble rock. The plan was to dump the cobble rock on the driveway, show the crew the project, and then I would go back to the office and do estimates the rest of the day. Well, underneath that dump truck is where I engaged the PTO, the power takeoff, which spins underneath the dump truck and really powers the entire dump mechanism. I engaged it manually because inside of the cab, where you usually would pull the lever, that cable had broken. And for like a week or two, I had been manually going underneath the dump truck and engaging the PTO, turning it on. So I did that again on this customer's driveway out in Birch Bay Village. And I turned it on and engaged the PTO, and on my way back out, the PTO that was spinning above my head caught my hoodie. And in a split second, I remember being caught up underneath the PTO, the gearbox hitting into my bicep across my shoulder and preventing me from spinning over the PTO. And if you want, some gory videos, just go to YouTube, type in PTO accidents, and you'll get your fair share. Fortunately, I dropped out of the PTO. What happened though is my hoodie and my t-shirt cinched up around my neck, got super tight, and then finally just went to smithereens. I fell out of the PTO and fortunately was able to get rushed to the hospital and over the course of a couple weeks, get back on the mend. But it almost caught up with me, offering all these services, being in the business instead of working on it, not having systems. Because I shouldn't have never been on that customer's property. I should have never had that dump truck that was completely out of the simple services we knew we could execute on. So, on that hospital bed, I realized my business needed a turnaround. I started a 12-month turnaround, and just like I talk about in the books, I started cutting services dramatically. All the putting greens and the artificial turf and the tree trippers and the hydro seeding and all this equipment. We had multiple track loaders and skid steers, excavators. We started getting rid of it. I implemented pay for performance, just like the book says. I fixed the off season because we were losing $70,000 to $100,000 of cash every single winter. I didn't have a plan in place to be able to pay my crew if there wasn't snow on the ground or if I couldn't mow the grass. And that led to weeks, if not months, where we would lose tens of thousands of dollars simply because of the off season. And these books show exactly what I did in those 12 months. Over the next 12 months, after making those changes to the business and doing a turnaround, I made $280,000 in annual owner distributions. That's money that I took out of the business and paid myself. I stepped out of daily operations. I hired a general manager to run the business for me. And I shared 25% of the profits with the team and with the general manager. Augusta Nation has copied and pasted those principles over 200 times around the world. In the United States, Canada, and Australia. Now, this is the 4L framework. You've seen this before. It identifies why every home service business stops growing. It's either a lack of liquidity, I don't have enough money. It's either a lack of leads, i.e. I don't have any customers, or it's a lack of labor, I don't have any employees, or it's a lack of leadership. I'm not able to find general managers. I'm not able to find managers to run the business without me. Fixing each bottleneck unlocks growth. Meaning if I have enough money, that means I can go get leads. But if I start getting so many leads and so many customers, well, now I need to find employees. There's a lack of labor that I need to find employees to grow the business. And then if I find enough employees, then it unlocks me to grow more. But now I need more leadership. I need a general manager. I need someone in operations. I need someone to answer the phones. I need somebody to lead the business for me. And fixing each bottleneck, realizing the constraint you have and fixing it allows the business to get to the next level. I used this framework to turn around 100 home service businesses, and I showed them on my YouTube channel. You'll notice on every turnaround, we go through this 4L framework because we want to identify this home service business. What is actually keeping them from growing? Is it a lack of liquidity? Is it a lack of leads? Is it a lack of labor? Or do they need better leadership? The turnaround book solves the liquidity problem. Because we talk about cash flow and we realize that cash is oxygen and without it, we die. Leads, the next constraint in the 4L framework. That's what the off season fixes. Because if your leads drop off a cliff during the winter or during your off season, we're not going to be profitable year round. And P for P addresses the labor problem, where I can pay my employees based upon how hard they work. It allows you to retain and attract great talent for your technicians. But I never gave the roadmap for leadership. We talk about the 4L framework. There's 3 books. There's one constraint missing that I haven't talked about, and that's leadership. Leadership is the hardest constraint because it is deeply personal. It has ripple effects across the entire company. Leadership determines if someone stays as a solo operator or if they grow a multi-million-dollar empire in home services. This is what the new book unveils. Leadership deconstrained in your business. Leadership stages at every size of business, from 0 to over $3 million in annual revenue. Anyone, everyone in the chat, I see you guys, let's go. Everyone here today can use these playbooks. Someone starting out can avoid the 5 years I beat my head up against the wall. If you already have a 7-figure business and are successful, you will learn how to delegate to managers, build systems so you can leave operations, and create a career path for technicians and managers. I believe that every home service business can be broken into 3 parts. Regardless if you do $3,000 per month of revenue or $200,000 per month in revenue. First off, we have sales. Get the work. Secondly, we have operations, where we have to do the work. And then we have admin, where we get paid for the work. Sales, operations, admin. Admin, I'm going to get paid for the work, invoicing, billing. I'm also going to grease all the gears so I can continue to get the work done, which is like payroll, answering emails, answering the phone. All of that needs to get done for the business to operate. Sales, so if you look at sales, operations, and admin, let's talk about sales for a moment. Sales at $3,000 in monthly revenue looks way different than sales at $200,000 in monthly revenue. For the solo operator, their sales system includes little advertising, usually not really a great website, and not a lot of automations or software. For the CEO of a $3 million business, their sales system includes a marketing budget, tracking lead conversion metrics, and managing an entire team on the sales side. Operations, so we talked about sales. Operations at a $3,000 in monthly revenue business looks way different than operations at $200,000 in monthly revenue. For the solo operator, operations means doing the work more efficiently, choosing the right equipment, and optimizing their schedule to get the work done around the estimates they have on their day. For the CEO though, when it comes to operations for a $3 million business, that means tracking efficiency scores, monitoring budget hours, and installing an equipment repair system. These are just a few examples of the systems we talk about in the book. We talked about sales, we talked about operations, doing the work. Now let's talk about admin, getting paid for the work. Because admin at $3,000 in monthly revenue looks way different than admin at $200,000 in monthly revenue. For the solo operator, admin systems mean answering calls and emails between your jobs. While you're out on the truck trying to get jobs done, you're also answering calls and getting emails out, doing paperwork at night, and learning how to use software. For the CEO of a $3 million business, admin systems mean creating upsell phone scripts, where I'm going to sell more to the customers that call on every single phone call, building an office team, and using AI tracking to ensure efficiency. This is the problem with social media and influencers. I throw myself into this bucket as well. What works for them won't work for you. Not because they're wrong, not because they're trying to deceive you. I don't believe that. I know many of them, and that's not their goal. It's simply that they are at a different size of business. Their sales system is different than yours. Their operation system is different than yours. And their admin system is different than yours. Sales, operations, admin. Get the work, do the work, and get paid for the work. So the book is broken into 4 leadership hats. So everyone can learn regardless of their business size. And it's accurate the size of business that you're running. All right, these are the 4 leadership hats. Solo operator. The next leadership hat is working GM. The next hat is the full-time GM. And the 4th leadership hat is the GM plus. Now I want to make a quick note because immediately when I say GM, everyone thinks I got to have a general manager. The owner, the operator, can wear the GM hat. They are the leader of the organization. So when I say GM, this is a leadership role that could be the owner, but it could also be a general manager or an employee. Now let's go through each of these leadership hats and discuss in general what the revenue range is and how many employees you're going to have. Now, when I started writing the book, I realized that I could be very vague and not give revenue ranges. But I wanted to make this book as prescriptive as possible so you could put yourself in one of these categories. I understand that it's going to vary a lot by what industry and what services you're offering, if you have a lot of material costs, etc. But this is a general rule of thumb for these leadership hats. Number 1, solo operator. You have no employees, thence you are a solo operator, meaning $0 and $250,000 in annual revenue. The working GM does between $250,000 and $750,000 in revenue on average, and between 1 and 8 employees. Again, I know it's a wide range in terms of revenue and number of employees, but for every different service, if you're doing concrete versus trimming bushes, your cost structure is going to look very different. So that's why the ranges are there. The 3rd leadership hat is a full-time general manager. $750,000 in annual revenue up to $1.5 million annual revenue. Between 5 and 15 employees. The GM plus leadership hat is when you're over $1.5 million in revenue and going beyond $3 million in annual revenue. And usually you have between 10 and 30 employees, again, depending on what type of services you offer and if you have a lot of material costs or subcontractors. Okay, now in the chat, I want you to give me a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4, just to tell me which of the leadership hats are you wearing. So put a 1 in the chat if you are a solo operator, put a 2 in the chat, okay, yep, a 2 in the chat if you're a working GM, a little bit of a delay here. Working GM, number 2, and if you're a full-time GM in that revenue range, give me a 3, and if you're already over $1.5 million in annual revenue, give me a 4. Awesome, thank you, yes, very good. A lot of 2s. All right, 3, 4, yeah, okay, awesome. Very good. Okay, the copy and paste millionaire shows what sales, operations, and admin need to look like at every size of business, regardless of what leadership hat you are wearing. Regardless if you struggle with sales, operations, or admin, the copy and paste millionaire will unlock the next stage of growth without breaking you, because that's the key component. So many people grow their business, and I've seen many people running a $3, $5, $10 million business, but their family life is broken. Their body is broken. Emotionally and spiritually, they're broken. The copy and paste millionaire knows that businesses need systems. Systems that run without the owner working 80 plus hours a week. The copy and paste millionaire knows that to build systems, we must do 4 things. 1, simplify. Make it easy. Number 2, standardize. We do it the same way every single time. Now the opposite of simplify and standardize is number 3 and 4. Avoid complexity. Complexity is the opposite of simplify. We're also going to avoid custom, where we do things differently every single time. The exact opposite of standardization. So the copy and paste millionaire uses the simple system framework. Now I understand this is a lot, and I'm recapping some elements of the book, but stick with me because there are a lot of principles here that I want to unpack. If we look at this quadrant, there's custom and complex. We want to avoid those. There is simple and standard. We want to try to get all systems of the business to fall inside these categories. Let's walk through this real quick though. Now, if I do everything custom, which is, it's always different, there's no system in place, and I do it complex. It's very difficult, hard to train someone else. This is what I call the treadmill junkie. And this leads to burnout. Because every single job is different. Every single time you answer the phone, it's different. Every single time someone interacts with a company, it's different. It's custom. And it's complex. It's very difficult to train someone else because you've made it very complex. Now, in the top left-hand corner, you see the master juggler. Now, this person takes a lot of pride in their craftsmanship and doing a great job. Their reviews are usually spotless. They have great before and after photos because they do fantastic work. They do very complex jobs, big, beautiful projects, but they've standardized it. This person is so good at managing their time, materials, getting equipment in the right spot. These people look like they have it together because they're the master juggler. Somehow they're able to make these custom jobs. Somehow they're able to make these custom services, not really having any sort of simplification in the business, but they're able to standardize. The jack of all trades. This is usually a solo operator because they're like, I will do anything that's custom, like anything. I will do anything as long as it's simple. As long as I'm not doing electrical, as long as I'm not doing anything crazy with the plumbing, I'll do it. This is the jack of all trades. This is the handyman stuff special here. Solo operator many times. Because it's very difficult to train someone when every single time you step on a property, it's completely custom. Now, this is our goal here. Simple and standardized. This is built to scale. This is where you can grow a business. You can have multiple locations and copy and paste that method. However, the upper echelons of the simple system framework is when we talk about built to leave. This is not only in the top fourth quadrant of built to scale, but in the upper echelons of that corner where we actually are able to leave the business and the systems continue to run. This is a business that is built to leave. This is a system that allows the business owner to leave and everything still run without them. Let's see the simple system framework in action. We're going to go over the entire quadrant for estimating only. Keep in mind, you can do this for billing, invoicing, how you answer a phone, your type of services, a whole plethora. But let's just look at this one simple system framework for estimating. If we're in the bottom left-hand corner, the treadmill junkie is doing complex services and they're doing super custom. So what do? They make 3D designs. We're talking about estimating. They're going to usually need to do 3D designs, talk to the customer in person, and I've seen some of your comments in the chat. Let's go. This is the 3D design dilemma. Like, should I charge for it or not? You are likely in the treadmill junkie phase, doing custom work, doing custom services, doing every single time you answer the phone is different. There's no processes in place, and it's complex. It's hard to train other people on how to do what you do in your industry. Now, if we take it a little bit higher, a little better, at least we have standardized things because the master juggler, that great project manager, usually has a project book. They don't show up at a job that's really, really complex and just, give them 1,000 options and give them the manual and say, hey, go down to the hardware store and take a look at what you got. Send me some pictures you like. No, they have before and after photos. They have a project book. Say, oh, if you want pavers, here's the 3 options we offer. Which one do you like more? Here's the wall block that we install. Which one do you like? They're organized. They have very complex services, but they standardize. They do the same thing the same way every time. When it comes to estimating, the jack of all trades has to do an in-person walkthrough. They have to see the scope of work in person with the customer. Because every single thing they do is custom. It's completely different from time to the next. Now, built to scale is simple and standardized. Because of that, this allows from the estimator's perspective to do estimate videos. This is what I should have had to avoid being underneath a dump truck and almost getting killed. Because estimate videos allow me as the estimator to take a video of the property, attach it to the job, and never set foot on the property again. This allows me to be able to scale. But even above that, this is where the copy and paste millionaire lives. The upper echelons, built to leave, where I don't even have to go visit the customer. I don't have to even take a video. I don't have to meet them in person. I don't have to drive there 30 minutes and then hit traffic and then wait for the customer because they didn't show up on time. I use instant pricing. The copy and paste millionaire uses instant pricing to be able to build a business that runs without them there. For every system in the business, and we go through this in depth, For every system in the business, we can plot where is your business inside of the simple system framework. And our goal is to push towards the top right to build a business that runs without us. Regardless if you do $3,000 per month of revenue or $200,000 in monthly revenue, systems allow you to work less hours and make more money. Systems allow you to build a business that is valuable and can be sold to a buyer. The Copy and Paste Millionaire reveals systems for sales, operations, and admin, tailored to the leadership hat that the owner is wearing. Let's look at some org charts. So we talked about the 4 leadership hats. What does this look like when it comes to the organization of the business? As a solo operator, when I look at sales, operations, and admin being the 3 departments, a solo operator does everything. Like, they are going to do the estimates and get the work. They're going to go do the work, operations, and they're going to be doing all the invoicing, all the billing, contacting the customer, answering the phone, and all the admin work. So you can see here on the org chart, even though there's just one person, I put sales, operations, and admin, but underneath that, the owner is serving in that capacity. They're serving the role of sales and admin and operations. Now, if we continue to grow the business, we move in that working GM model. Remember, the GM can be the owner, but the role of the owner, in this case, is a general manager. Notice here, we still have sales, operations, and admin, but we're not a solo operator, and we have technicians underneath the operations doing of the work. Now, on the admin side, I'm going to hire a virtual assistant or have part-time help, especially during the busy season. Usually at this size, though, I'm still going to be handling 100% of the sales and leading the team in operations. Now, as I continue to grow the business past $750,000 in revenue, up to $1.5 million in revenue, this is where I start getting some mid-level managers. I hire an office manager full-time. I hire an operations manager to be able to run the team when I'm not there or when I'm out doing estimates, because that's usually the last thing I, as the general manager or the owner's role, am doing, is handling the sales side. But now the business has grown, I have more technicians, and I have more revenue. This is usually what I classify as being off the truck, because now the general manager or the owner is not in operations. They have an operations manager making sure the work gets done. They're usually focused on getting more work, sales. Now, this is the org chart for a GM Plus model. This is where you're going up to $3 million in annual revenue. At this stage, the general manager is up on top. They have a manager for sales, they have a manager for operations, and they have a mid-level manager for the office. Each of those roles usually have roles below them, especially if you start getting past $3 million in annual revenue, $4 million, $5 million, $6 million in revenue. Now your office manager needs an assistant. Now your operations manager needs someone to work on the equipment, be kind of in the mechanic situation, as well as maybe even have an assistant. The sales manager might end up needing a second estimator. This is all as the business starts crossing $3 million in annual revenue. This is sort of what the org chart looks like. An owner or general manager serving in the capacity of the GM with mid-level managers below them and growing out the team below that. This is when I consider the business owner out of daily operations, all right? Because I can leave and sales still happen. I have a sales manager. I can leave and operations, the work still gets done because I have an operations manager. I can leave and admin still takes place. Payroll gets ran, phone calls get answered, emails get answered. This is when I consider someone out of daily operations. So I want to make that distinction because when people say, I want to get off the truck, that's not this. This is I can actually leave the business and not have to be there in person. The Copy and Paste Millionaire delegates in this order. First, they delegate admin, then they delegate operations, and then they delegate the sales role. Why? Because the replacement cost is in that order. I can pay $30 an hour and get someone to take over my office and my admin side of things. And then operations doing the work. Let's say you charge $80, $100, $120, $150 an hour. I consider that operations, and that replacement cost is what I'm gonna have to pay to get someone skilled in that role. And many times, as we talked about, even in the full-time GM leadership hat, the last thing the GM or the operator, the owner holds on to is sales, because the highest replacement cost is the most value to the business and usually the hardest role to fulfill. There's a lie though. that has killed many home service businesses. I call it the 7-figure lie. And that success starts at $1 million in annual revenue. The lie is that you got to grow at all costs and keep growing with no finish line. Use debt, use low prices, but get to $1 million as fast as possible. This lie has broken many families, relationships, and businesses in the home service industry. The copy and paste millionaire builds the business in a very specific way. They use one of two options. One, they grow a sustainable $3 million business using the GM Plus model, where I have a manager for sales, a manager for operations, and a manager for the admin side of the business. Secondly, the copy and paste millionaire can also stop at the working GM size with about 6 to 8 employees and raise prices, make more profit before they even hit $1 million in annual revenue. And then do it again and again and again. Copy and paste. The copy and paste millionaire replicates this model, the working GM model, over and over again, with one GM and a bunch of technicians, not needing that mid-level management position. They avoid having that middle management at every location that they start. Rather, the owner has a regional manager that manages the GMs. The GMs manage all aspects of their location besides the admin side that they start a command center off to the side. Where all the admin is handled, the GM can just focus on managing the team. Let's look at some of the systems of the copy and paste millionaire. The copy and paste millionaire enters profit mode. Because when you hit capacity, when you can't get any more customers without buying more trucks or hiring more people, you enter the land, as the little description here shows, you're welcome to capacity. You've now entered the place where you have a decision to make. Do I stay in growth mode, buy more trucks, hire more people, increase the capacity of how much I can grow the business in terms of revenue and how many more customers I can serve? Or do I enter profit mode? Do I raise my prices, increase my profits, and reduce the close ratio to new customers because I raise my prices? The copy and paste millionaire monitors labor efficiency. And you'll see this throughout the book. Efficiency score equals the budgeted hours, in other words, how long do I think the job is going to take, divided by clocked hours. How long did the job actually take? So let's say, for example, we have budget hours of 8. I think the job is going to take 8 hours. The clocked hours from the time they got to the shop, loaded up, drove to the job, everything else, 10 hours for the day. They clocked in at 6 a.m. and they finished up, clocked out at 4 p.m. 10 clocked hours. That comes out to an 80% efficiency score. And the copy and paste millionaire monitors this religiously. In fact, we have the efficiency score speedometer. Between 70 and 90% is average. So at an 80% efficiency score, I'm doing okay. Now, if you can get your efficiency score of your crew above 90%, I have rarely seen a business that doesn't make good profit margins if your labor is that efficient. If you're between 50 and 70%, it's not great. That's where I see a lot of home services struggling because 30, 40, 50% of their day, the crew's day out in the field, is being wasted with drive time, loading up, chit-chatting, and fueling up at the gas station 5 times a day. Now, I have never seen a home service business under 50% efficiency that's making good profits over 20% profit margin. In other words, if more than half of your crew's day that they're clocked in is spent doing non-revenue producing tasks and they're not completing jobs on time, and when I run the efficiency score, it's under 50%, that business is doomed for failure. The copy and paste millionaire uses the trinity of the trades. And I believe if you miss one of these components, your culture will fall apart. They use P for P. They use pay for performance to pay their employees what they're worth. The harder they work, the more money they make. But then they also open up the books and share the profit and loss. Share how much money the business is making. They share the expenses and open up everything to their employees. And then last but not least, they give them a piece of the action so that when I show them the numbers, they want to increase the profits. Even if I'm really profitable, even if I as the owner am not there every day, they want the business to make more money because they get a piece of the action. The Copy and Paste Millionaire uses the trinity of the trades: pay for performance, open book management, and profit sharing. The Copy and Paste Millionaire shares profits with their team. This is from across the country at Augusta Lawn Care. Some of the big jumbo checks we hand out to our team on a quarterly basis for the technicians out in the field to get a piece of the action. The Copy and Paste Millionaire follows 7 stages of success for them as owners. First off, they're gonna grow past $500,000 in annual revenue. Stage number 2, they're gonna enter profit mode and raise prices. Stage 3, they're gonna simplify and focus on recurring revenue, because that's the revenue I want, so that when I leave, I know that the revenue is still coming in. Stage 4 is I'm gonna scale. Over the course of a few years, I'm gonna keep raising prices as I hit capacity and optimize around $800,000, $900,000, $1 million in annual revenue, but not getting more trucks, not hiring more people, just simply raising prices when I hit capacity. Stage 5 for stages of success for an owner is that I'm going to hire a general manager and I'm going to get out of daily operations, because now the business is very profitable after being in profit mode for a couple years. Stage 6, I'm going to copy and paste multiple locations. This is the premise of the entire book. Everything we talk about with the Copy and Paste Millionaire is hinging on this step here. How do I take the success of having a location that has a general manager, has a team that's motivated by pay for performance and gets profit sharing? How do I copy and paste that someplace else and not getting distracted with other shiny things? It is only after I do that and I figure out how to copy and paste that business model in stage 7 that I start to think about investing. Looking for stocks or investment portfolios or real estate to be able to make sure that I am able to grow my wealth in a tax efficient way. Now, the Copy and Paste Millionaire creates a career path for technicians. The Copy and Paste Millionaire hates dead end jobs. So the same way that we have stages of success for owners, we have stages of success for technicians. So stage 1, I'm going to learn. I'm going to figure out all the in-person training out in the field that I need as a technician. Stage 2 of success for a technician is I'm going to earn pay for performance above base pay. I'm going to get a bonus for at least 2 consecutive pay periods. Now notice, the first several stages of success for a technician can be done in the matter of just a few months. I want to see that early progress and early wins in their career. Number 3 is shine. 5-star reviews mentioning their crew, the work that they get done. I want them to have pride in their work. Stage 4, I'm going to have them lead team meetings, because the whole objective of the Copy and Paste Millionaire is for them to learn skills to get beyond their current stage of their career. Stage number 5 is to train, because the best way to learn many times is to train another technician. And so this is stage 5. Stage 6 is to actually participate in profit sharing, because that's what we offer in the Copy and Paste Millionaire method. They've got to get profit sharing for 2 consecutive quarters. And 7th is optional, but certainly a great place for a technician that wants to stay in the field and not necessarily progress any further, is to continue mentoring other technicians to get from stages 1 through 4. It's a great trainer and certainly a very valuable asset to your team. The major constraint for the Copy and Paste Millionaire is finding great general managers. They realize that managing managers is a very different skill than managing technicians. So the Copy and Paste Millionaire, because they hate dead-end jobs, creates stages of success for general managers. And these are the 7 stages of success for a general manager. First, they've got to learn. They've got to complete training and pass a test. Number 2, they've got to hire someone. They've got to hire and keep them around for at least 3 months. A great skill to learn as a general manager. Stage 3 of success is really pass or fail. Like crush the rush, you just have to survive. We all know that during the busiest season, it can be so difficult and stressful. I just need my general manager to retain the team and make it through. Stage 4 of success for general managers is that we can't have an off season, because we know that off seasons kill the business. And to prevent having an off season, I need to have at least 50% of revenue per month compared to my best month of the year. So if my best month of the year is $100,000 in monthly revenue, I've got to have my general manager produce at least $50,000 per month in revenue throughout the off season in order to get past stage 4. Now, stage 5 is consistency. I want 4 consecutive quarters of profit sharing from the general manager. And then they've entered stage 5. Now, stage 6 is they're going to now mentor another general manager because they might be moving on to another career, starting their own location, or becoming a general manager at another new location that you started. So I need them to mentor someone that's coming behind them. Now, at Augusta Lawn Care, we use these stages of success. And if a general manager does all 6 stages and gets to stage 7, they become eligible for what we call the 3F program. Franchise fee forgiveness. They get their initial $24,000 initial fee waived so they can start their own location. And this is what we call the 21 stages of success at Augusta Lawn Care. Because we hate dead-end jobs. The copy and paste millionaire hates dead-end jobs. So we have 7 stages of success for technicians. We have 7 stages of success for general managers. We have 7 stages of success for an owner. And in the past, we would tell people during an interview and in the culture of Augusta Nation that our goal was to get you to the next stage of your career. But the problem was we never showed what stage they were at and how they could progress in the future. And so it felt as a technician that you just showed up every day and mowed lawns. You just installed mulch. You just kept doing the same thing. And so we created the 7 stages of success for technician for them to see how they're progressing in their career. And with the general manager and with an owner. Now, instead of just having some fancy get to the next stage of your career in the office, we have this board. And every person in the organization, every technician, whether they've been around for 2 or 3 years or just got started, the general manager, the owner, everyone is on the board and progressing towards getting to the next stage of their career. And at every single stage, we hand out certificates of completion. This allows us to be able to have a 4th stage technician and a 5th stage general manager, and everyone knows where everyone's at on the board. It's a game. The game is to get to the next stage of your career. And to do that, we must have constant improvement. Because the copy and paste millionaire hates dead-end jobs. So when we're able to fill out someone's name, put it on the certificate, clap it up at a team meeting, put it up on the wall, take a picture for social media, that's the objective, is to be able to get every technician to the next stage of their career. Every general manager to the next stage of their career. Every owner to the next stage of their career. I want to give you some examples. This is Marcus. Marcus he moved from Montana to Washington State and started working at my first location. And I think he was about 18 years old, young guy. Young and hungry, working hard, out in the field. After about a year, he became the estimator because this location was a GM Plus model. We needed an estimator. He moved in that role and served there well for a year or 2. Over time, he moved to the next stage of his career and became a general manager and ran that location very profitably. He was able to move it back into the working GM size and make it even more profitable than before. Then Marcus became an owner. He moved to the 7 stages of success for a general manager and became an owner inside of Augusta Lawn Care. What's cool is just recently, last month, Marcus bought his 2nd location and did over $150,000 in combined revenue. He's now a multi-unit owner at Augusta Lawn Care. This is Lee. Lee also started out in the field mowing grass, did a lot of the landscaping side. He was actually around when we were doing really complex services. As time went on, he was the first person I actually handed sales off to. Because remember, the copy and paste millionaire hands off admin, hands off operations, but many times holds on to sales until they find an estimator. And Lee was that person. And it's nerve-wracking to hand sales off to anybody because they are the constraint to getting the work. And if you don't get the work on the sales side, you'll never have any work to do, and your admin person will never have the phone ringing. You won't need them. So sales is very important. And I handed this off to Lee at my first location. As time went on, he became the general manager. And then now, after we crossed 50 locations at Augusta Lawn Care, moved in the role of VP of sales and has taken us from 50 locations to 200 locations at Augusta Lawn Care, selling those across the world. This is Austin. So Austin also was about 19 years old when he joined at Augusta Lawn Care mowing grass. And within a matter of a few weeks, we thought we were gonna have to let him go. One of our most experienced technicians was like, look, this guy's not cut out for this. He's on his phone all the time. He's sleeping. He's just distracted. He's not pushing himself. Like, I don't think it's going to work out. So we had a really honest conversation with him. Actually, that technician talked to Austin and was like, hey, you got to get things together or else they're going to cut you. Austin got his stuff together, started caring so much about the customer. I'm super proud of this young man. He ended up also becoming an owner inside of Augusta Lawn Care. He moved down to Texas with another technician, Tyler, and together as a partnership, are still running their location just south of Dallas, Texas. Super awesome. Next stage of his career. Now this is Brad. Brad came to us already as a certified public accountant. He was working for TurboTax, but his objective was to get kind of a summer and fall gig while the tax season was slow. And then he'd go back to TurboTax. Well, that's turned into now 7 or 8 years working here at Augusta Lawn Care. He worked for about 5 years as a technician, and because of his certified public accountant, I realized that I would rather have him working for me, doing my taxes, as well as at Home Service CPA, where he can now serve other home service business owners doing their payroll, all of their accounting, all of their bookkeeping, and their taxes. From a technician all the way to an accountant. This is Nick. Again, the copy and paste millionaire hates dead-end jobs. They try to create these stages of success for their technicians to move up inside their organization. This is Nick. The picture on the left is actually a picture I took when I was working with Nick out on a route one day. It's a beautiful spot in Bellingham, Washington, overlooking the valley, and we're on this really steep incline, weed whacking, and it was actually a time when Nick was having a really bad day, so I hopped out on the crew with him, way back. Fast forward to the day, he now is the owner success manager for all 200 locations at Augusta Lawn Care. He runs daily calls, weekly video calls with all of Augusta Nation. But in between that, he went from a technician out in the field and realized he wanted to become an owner. And so he actually moved into a van and lived there for a year and a half to save up money and became an owner. He went from a technician to an owner inside of Augusta Lawn Care. And in his first year as an owner, he made $75,000 in take-home profit, not revenue, profit, because this guy works and hustles. That's Nick. Stories like theirs are the reason I keep working. It's why I believe in the copy and paste millionaire method. It's why I push so hard on all the systems that we talk about today. The copy and paste millionaire attracts a talent, builds entry-level technicians into leaders, systematizes, then delegates everything in the business. The copy and paste millionaire method is what allowed us to scale from 1 location to 200 locations at Augusta Lawn Care. The copy and paste millionaire method is the game plan we will use to reach 1,000 locations. Now I want to show you a case study of a location that I started several years ago. In the past 12 months, they did $844,000 in annual revenue. They have about 4 to 5 trucks. I think one of the trucks the GM kind of uses. 4 to 6 employees and 1 working GM. Remember, working GM, that GM is still in operations and still producing revenue. I spent about $60,000 to $70,000 to get all the equipment, trucks, trailers, everything in that first year and the initial marketing. In that first year, there wasn't a lot of profit sharing. We did about 5% profit margin for that first year. The general manager earned about $60,000 in total wages in that first year because we were just investing everything back into marketing and growing the business. In year 3, right at the beginning, we hit $500,000 in annual revenue and we went into profit mode, just like is described in the 7 stages of success for owners. You hit $500,000 annual revenue and then you go into profit mode. You don't buy more trucks, you don't hire more people, you simply raise prices. You stop marketing and you use Copilot to send out texts and send out emails to get your existing customers to continue buying from you. That's what allows us to become more profitable. After that, we hit 9 consecutive quarters, never missed a single one, of owner distributions. That's where I take money out of the business. And I never visited the shop. They conquered the off season. 9 consecutive quarters means that for 9 consecutive quarters, over 2 years, over 2 off seasons, we still made profit every single quarter. And I never visited the shop. This year, in the past 12 months, I did like a rolling 12 from September to September. This location made $844,767 in revenue. Now the free cash flow was $172,659. Now on the screen, you can actually see how that $172,000 was distributed between Tim, the general manager, Nick, the regional manager, and myself as the owner, as well as the crew out in the field. I never met one technician. Not a single time did I visit the shop or say hello or even visit that area in that shop space. The regional manager led by the metrics from weekly and monthly scorecards as outlined inside of the book. Now, this past year, the GM earned over $140,000 in total compensation. The distributions of $73,000, that's profit sharing. That's on top of their regular paycheck and their salary. I made more in distributions from this 1 year than my initial investment to start the location. I spent about $60,000 to $70,000 to get started, and in this 1 year, I made over $80,000 in distributions. Again, never showing up to the facility. The goal, when we do the copy and paste millionaire method, is to have 20% profit margin and then share profits with the managers and team. And if I'm not there, I'm willing to give a big chunk of it away. Realize that over half of the profits from this location, I gave back to the team. But the goal is to roll the profits from location 1 into starting location 2. I could start another location with that $86,000 that was distributed to me. And I avoid taxes using Section 179. So all the profit that I make from my first location, I'm able to roll that into my second location. And when that one becomes profitable, I roll that into the third location. I don't get fancy. I don't change the business model. I don't add more services. I just copy and paste. The copy and paste millionaire uses systems to manage the business remotely. Now, the old way of growing a home service business means you have unstable lead flow. It's up and it's down. You have large backlogs where you have so much work on the schedule, and then you have stretches where you get no work. And it's like feast or famine. You're either just crushing it, leads are pouring in, you can't even get to the phone, and then other times where it just seems like you just can't get work for nothing. The copy and paste millionaire does things differently. Because we're tracking what our close rate is. Our close rate is the number of accepted estimates divided by sent estimates. So if I had 100 estimates that were sent out and 30 were accepted, that'd be 30 divided by 100. That's a 30% close rate. Now, we use the sales speedometer, and the copy and paste millionaire watches this like a hawk. If I'm in growth mode, in other words, I'm trying to optimize for growing the number of customers I have, getting more trucks, hiring more people, and growing and expanding top line revenue. If that's the case, I'm going to be shooting between 50 and 70% as my close rate. If I'm going above 70% close rate, I want to raise my prices immediately, because there's a very good chance that I could raise my price by 15 or 20% and hardly see an impact if I'm closing 80, 90% of the jobs that estimates that I'm sending out. There's a huge value discrepancy if you're closing every estimate you send. I sometimes, on a turnaround, I'll be like, hey, like how many jobs do you close? Oh, as a percentage. Like, oh, pretty much every single estimate I send gets accepted. You're leaving so much money on the table. Now, if you're in profit mode and you're trying to optimize for making more profit, I don't want to be closing too many jobs. I'm not trying to grow the number of customers I have. I'm not trying to buy more trucks and expand services. I'm in profit mode and I'm going to raise my prices until I have a close rate of between 30 and 50%. Now, if your close rate is below 30%, I would really diagnose your sales process, because there's a good chance that you could follow up better, you could get to the customer faster, you could change the way that you're actually sending the quote to the customer. These are diagnosing the sales process. And you're like, well, I'm in such high profit mode, I only want 5 or 10% close rate. I still think you need to diagnose your sales process, because you're wasting a bunch of time sending out estimates to customers that are never going to accept. And 90%, if you're going to have a 10% close ratio, that means 90% of people say no. And if you're going out and visiting customers and talking to customers and sending 3D designs and doing all this stuff, and 90% of people are saying no, there's an inherent cost in sending those estimates. And so I'm actually going to change my sales process to maybe remove some of those tire kickers. Get rid of the people that I'm sending estimates to that are not accepting. Now, the old way of running a home service business, you have labor efficiency that goes up and down. Sometimes they crush a job. Other times it's like, what in the world are you doing? You have bad route density, forgotten tools, and broken equipment. They're coming back to the shop. If you're not paying them on pay for performance, you're incentivizing them to hop back in the AC truck and drive back. And so yes, they forget tools and they break stuff more often. But the copy and paste millionaire tracks efficiency. And they do this by having budget hours divided by clocked hours. And they also have an efficiency score speedometer. We want that 70 to 90% as an average, but I'm shooting for that 90% where out of 10 clocked hours, I'm completing 9 hours worth of work, at least. And the copy and paste millionaire tracks this religiously. They're not okay with up and down. They're not okay with inefficient crews that sometimes do good and sometimes do bad. They track their efficiency score. And they actually pay them on pay for performance. This is a screenshot from a location I just pulled the other day. They track their efficiency for every team member. And then they pay them based upon P for P. They pay them based upon how hard they work. And when they're more efficient, they make more money. Now, the old way of growing a home service business is having a really expensive rent or buying, like putting $100,000 a down payment on a shop space. And I've seen time and time again where home services have 15% or more of their revenue being spent on admin. Now, I think of admin as all the rent or the lease or the mortgage, but then also the utilities like the internet, water, sewer, garbage, electric, also all the office furniture, and all the wages of the office staff. That's what I consider as admin. Remember, this is our third pillar of the business. And this causes a lot of overhead during the off season. So when you have leads drop off a cliff and revenue dropping off a cliff, at the same time, your landlord still needs rent. Your bank still needs the mortgage paid. Those are fixed expenses. Those are overhead during the time when you don't have a lot of cash during the off season. Now, the copy and paste millionaire does things differently. They're going to get a virtual assistant or an answering service while they're growing the business because they don't want to focus on admin. They realize that is the lowest part of the business in terms of value. They're going to focus on growing the business with sales and getting a great team in place. That's what the copy and paste millionaire does. They don't get a big fancy office space. That shop space that I just showed you, that case study from Augusta Lawn Care, they are paying $600 per month to rent some space at a farm. And that's all they need for 4 or 5 trucks and dumping all their material and having a storage container. No expensive office needed. Most importantly, the copy and paste millionaire doesn't want fixed costs during the off season. They want to have variable costs. So by having a virtual assistant or a part-time person or someone that is able to answer the phone, answer email, and charge them on a per minute or per hour basis, that means that during the spring rush, during the busy season, they might have a higher cost. It's variable. But during the off season, when they're not getting as many leads, they're not getting as many phone calls, they're not getting as many emails, they're not getting as many new customers, then the cost goes down. Because I don't want overhead. I don't want fixed expenses during my off season. This is what kills so many home service businesses. Now, as the copy and paste millionaire begins to grow past 7 figures and into the GM Plus model, that's when it's optional to build out that command center and begin to copy and paste that model. And we'll talk more about that later on. Now, the copy and paste millionaires tracking religiously how much they're spending on admin because I need good admin. But I'm never going to grow a bigger business by just answering the phone. I need to go get the work and do the work. And so in order to get past the first couple stages, the first couple leadership hats, I've got to focus on sales. And I'm actively tracking what percentage of revenue is spent on my total admin costs. Again, this is all of the rent, all of the office furniture, all of the admin wages that you're paying your office manager or assistant. I'm trying to keep that under 15%. Now I have the speedometer here. If you're over 20%, horrible. I have hardly seen businesses that pay this admin function more than 20%. And this is many times when someone buys a big shop space and they sink 150 and 200 grand into the down payment and are paying thousands of dollars on a mortgage per month. Now, if you're between 15 and 20%, it's not great. 10 to 15 is kind of the average. Now, if you're really good, 5 to 10% of your revenue goes to paying for admin costs. If you're under 5% admin, it means you have things dialed in. You are using the simple systems framework that the copy and paste millionaire talks about for every part of the business. Answering the phone, doing email, running payroll, doing QuickBooks, getting everything aligned in the systems of admin is dialed in, allowing you to be much more profitable. Now, the old way of growing a home service business is having in-person estimates or drive-by every property. You gotta go see what the work is actually going to be, see the property in person. Now, the problem with this is it's the most expensive employee and they're complete overhead. If I'm sitting on my estimator to visit the property, usually the most experienced, most skilled, and they're not producing revenue. There are costs to the business. It's also a long sales process because someone calls today, I booked the appointment for 2 or 3 days from now to meet the estimator. Then the estimator drives out there, talks to the customer, comes back. The next day, put together the estimate, sends the estimate out, follows up with them a couple days later after their email went to spam and didn't get through. And all of a sudden, it's been 5, 6, 7, 10 days for the sales process to go from I call and I want work to actually giving me a credit card so I can charge them for the work. Old way of doing a home service business, you're chasing down people for deposits. A card on file. They accepted the estimate. And you're like, I need a card on file. And you're emailing them and texting them, trying to get them set up so you can actually put them on the schedule. Or they accepted a $5,000 project and you need $2,500 down payment. And now you're calling them, you're texting them, you're trying to get a hold of them to get the stinking card, get the stinking deposit so that you can get the job on the schedule. It's a weird limbo spot. Now the copy and paste millionaire does it differently. They're going to give estimates over the phone or using the instant quote forms on their website. No in-person estimate required. I don't have to send an estimator there. It's really expensive. And immediately when the customer wants the estimate, I give it to them over the phone or without even having to call me. They just fill out the instant quote on the website. This cuts out the need for an experienced salesperson. And it allows them on the instant quote side of things, or if they're calling in on the phone, I can collect the card information and the deposit prior to marking the estimate as accepted. So that way, when the scheduler or the general manager gets notified and said, hey, you have an accepted estimate, we're not wondering if we have a card on file. We're not wondering if they paid their deposit. We already know it's been done because we collected it over the phone or we got it on the instant quote form. Now, the old way of growing a home service business, when we think about sales, what does sales look like in most home service businesses? It's owner-led. You're doing the estimates, you're running the marketing, you're figuring out the website, you're doing everything in sales. It's usually in-person estimates. And it takes 3 to 5 days to go from a customer submitting the estimate request form to actually getting the job scheduled and on the work schedule. Now operations, we talk about sales, operations in most home services, the old way of doing things is also owner-led. You're leading the team meetings, you're doing all of the training, you don't really have a hiring process, and a lot of tribal knowledge is used to get employees up to speed. It's like Bob tells Bill, and then Bill tells Sam, Sam tells Harry, and all of a sudden you talk to Harry, you're like, why are you doing it that way? It's tribal knowledge. There's no system in place. On the admin side, the old way of growing a home service business is you have expensive rent and a ton of overhead that crushes you during the off season. And you have inefficient office workers. If you think 50, 60% efficiency is good out in the field, just wait till you look at your office staff that might spend 10 or 20% of their day actually answering the phone or doing email. And most of the day is filled up with like filling the coffee thing, like wiping down the floor. All important things. We've got to clean out the toilet. We've got to fix the internet. But that doesn't produce revenue for the business. And a lot of home service businesses have a lot of key man risk in the admin role. And you're like, oh no, like my wife's got it. My spouse got it. My friend, when that person leaves, not if, but when they leave because of relationship issues, health issues, a breakage, they got to move away. All of a sudden your passwords, everything is in jeopardy. And more importantly, you don't have systems in place for the business to keep operating without that role. And it's going to damage sales and operations, getting more work and doing the work because your admin role has one person that holds all the keys to the business. I would rather distribute that risk over the course of several people and not have this big shop space, that big office that I'm paying for rent. Now, the copy and paste millionaire does things different. When it comes to sales, they use instant quote forms and over-the-phone estimates. For operations, they use video screening to hire employees, and they require weekly, monthly, quarterly scorecards and reports. Now on the admin side, we're going to use AI for quality assurance. We're going to use software and automations, and we're going to turn overhead of the admin role into offense with upsells to get more work from the customers we already do service for. And until I cross $1 million in annual revenue and slip into that GM Plus model and start getting an office manager, I'm going to try to keep it virtual so I don't have to go get a bunch of overhead and pay a really expensive salary for a great office manager. It all depends on finding and keeping great general managers. Because the copy and paste millionaire method takes sales off the plate of the GM. It's instant quotes, and it's over the phone estimates. The general manager doesn't have to go do estimates. They don't have to be a great salesperson. On the admin side, that's being handled virtually. I don't need the general manager to be good on the phone. I don't need the admin person or the general manager to be able to be good at email inbox and texting people. That's all handled by virtual agents that are handling the admin side. So the only thing that a general manager has to do is focus on operations, doing the work. They're going to hire great people, train them to be efficient, and focus on building great team culture and getting their technicians to the next stage of their career. They don't need to be an all-star that knows how to sell. They don't need to be an all-star that can manage an office and have a whole bunch of software running. That's all being handled for them. This is a business model that can be copied and pasted. So in the book, I share my method for hiring general managers and creating a compensation plan that lets them get to over 100,000, 6 figures in annual pay. Now, before the copy and paste millionaire method, in my business, there was no upward mobility. And there was a lot of turnover. I couldn't keep people for more than 2 or 3 months most of the time because I didn't have anywhere to put them if they are great. It was like, well, there's just a few of us here and like, you're really awesome, but I can't pay you more because you're kind of at the top of the pay grade. And so they leave. They go to another industry. There was no system for monitoring my location's performance remotely. So if I was gone, I just knew stuff was falling through the cracks. I just knew that people were going to underperform. There's going to be massive inefficiencies, and I'd be coming back to clean up the mess when I got home. There's also a lot of key man risk because I can tell you for certain, when I got trapped underneath that dump truck, that if my office manager, Liz at the time, would have left, my business would have failed. All of that key man risk on one person. It was a house of cards. That's what I had built in my business. I ran around all day spending just like meeting customers. I was doing sales, right? This is a $1.2, $1.3 million business. Running around doing sales all day long. I was also fixing all of my crew's mistakes. So whenever someone would complain or freak out or do a bad online review, Mike came to the rescue and drove out to their property and just did it himself because he cared. Fixing my crew's mistakes, what's that? Operations. I was doing the work. And then every single time there was a question from the office, or there's a complaint, or there's a question about payroll, or how the taxes need to be ran, I would also answer those questions from my admin person. So what effectively was happening was I was doing sales, operations, and admin in my business. Now, after the copy and paste millionaire method, there was a clear way for technicians and general managers to move up inside of the company. I retained my best employees. And I shared some of their stories with you today. Employees refined the systems and created training to reduce key man risk. Part of their job description, as I created a new role, was that they would create the systems for the next person to hand that role off to. And they would do it because they knew if they were able to hand it off to someone else, there'd be another role they can step into to make more money, gain more skills, and get to the next stage of their career. After the copy and paste millionaire method, I was able to step out of operations and support the general managers. This is actually an example of Brian Connor and Augusta Lawn Care. He's out in Georgia. He has 3 locations. The first one is doing over $170,000 a month in revenue. The other one's around $70,000 a month in revenue. And the one he started last year doing $37,000 a month in revenue. That third one's getting into profit mode next year. Can't wait to see it. But this is one of the posts from our Facebook group inside of Augusta Lawn Care. He's planning on starting another location next year, putting great general managers in place, him serving as the regional manager across these 3 locations, and they're all in profit mode. This is another example from Augusta Nation. We have the stages of success, the 21 stages, getting people to the next stage of their career. Alex said, fired up to launch our stages of success program for the techs and GM in Langley today. This is up in BC, actually, up in Canada. Can't wait to get those max pins. We have these little pins that we put on there for people's name and start recognizing the team with certificates of achievement. This system is such a game changer for building culture, driving teamwork, and celebrating wins. Let's go. And you can see that board that I was holding up before, we actually have that on like corrugated plastic. You put it on the wall and then we keep track of where everyone's at on the board. If you're anything like me, when we compare the old way of doing business and the copy and paste millionaire method, the copy and paste millionaire method sounds better than the old way. Can you see how the copy and paste millionaire method will give you time back to be with family without stressing about the business? Can you see how the copy and paste millionaire method will give your team the ability to make more money without having to leave for another job? Can you see how the copy and paste millionaire method will give you clarity to grow a $3 million GM plus business with a sales manager, an operations manager, and an admin manager? Can you see how the copy and paste millionaire method will allow you to duplicate your business model in multiple locations? This new way of building a home service business will be the bridge from where you are to where you want to go. So who in the chat, let me know, who would like to see the copy and paste millionaire method? Drop me a fire emoji or a rocket emoji or a money face. One of those three, drop in the chat. It's like a 10-second delay here, but I'm sure I'll see. Very good. Yes, thank you. All right, we see some fire, rocket. There we go. There we go. Some money. Let's go. All right. I'm very proud to present to you the copy and paste millionaire, the home service blueprint to make $3 million. This is the most up-to-date, tried and true system for building a home service business that runs without you. Copy and Paste Millionaire is the most how-to guide I have ever made for businesses like yours and mine. If you can't get enough leads to hire your first employee, if you're tired of wasting money on ad agencies and spending tens of thousands of dollars in this black hole, if you're tired of new employees that don't last 1 month, if you're tired of low profits and tight budgets, if you feel like you constantly need to look over the shoulder of your manager, if you feel like the bigger your business, the less time you have, Copy and Paste Millionaire method is for you. Without the Copy and Paste Millionaire method, you are stuck with the old way. Crazy hours, working 80 plus hours a week, and never free to leave the business. Being frustrated with your team constantly. And when you delegate to them, it's just more frustration. You're struggling to delegate. How can I create delegation if I don't have a system that I can give them for them to be successful? Stagnate revenue and no growth. Unmotivated leaders that when you do delegate and when you do hand things off, they're not motivated because there's no compensation model for them to be rewarded with. You don't need to restart the business. You only need one small tweak to unlock the next leadership hat. And that's why I talked about the 4 leadership hats and these 3 categories of the business. We have the solo operator, the working GM, the full-time GM, the GM plus model at the top. But for every one of those leadership hats, we've got to figure out what to do in sales, operations, and admin. If you're doing $100,000 per year and struggling to get leads, you're that solo operator, you're struggling with sales, Copy and Paste Millionaire method has the answer. Because at that stage, you don't think ads work. You're physically drained from doing work in the field every day for 10, 12, 14 hours. And I know what it's like to be there from working from sunup to sundown and being tired constantly. You're tired of doing paperwork and office stuff at night and on the weekends when you should be spending time with your family. Now, if you're doing $200,000 per month in revenue, the Copy and Paste Millionaire has the answer to get you past $3 million per year in revenue. Because if you're struggling with sales at this size, you're tired of paying tens of thousands of dollars every year to this black hole. You feel like you're flushing money down the toilet, Facebook and Google ads, and that ad agency is just happy to take your money every month and it's always right around the corner. It's frustrating. You can't find a GM and keep them motivated with a bonus plan. You struggle with scaling admin or a command center without a whole bunch of overhead bloated costs that crush you during the off season and you lose tens of thousands of dollars. Now, before the Copy and Paste Millionaire, I would spend 2 to 3 hours every morning showing my crew their projects. We literally staggered their start times, like 7 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, and 8:30, because I need to show them different projects. I drive around for 2 or 3 hours just showing them the projects. After the Copy and Paste Millionaire, I never set foot on a property after sending the quote. Why? We used estimate videos. When I was at the property, walking with the customer and doing the actual estimate, I would take a video and I would attach it to the job and the crew would show up with the video and the estimate notes and be able to get the job done without me. we consider it system failure if the estimator has to go back to the property once the job has been accepted. Now, before the copy and paste Millionaire method, I was afraid to hand off sales. To Lee, I was afraid. I'm like, if sales goes bad, everything I've built is gone. We lose employees, we lose jobs, no one's gonna be busy in the office. Sales is so important. I can't hand it off. But after the copy and paste Millionaire, I have weekly, monthly, and quarterly metrics and reports to track the sales performance. I'm never left in the dark. I'm speaking the same language as my estimator, as my general manager that's going out and doing the estimates. Now, before the copy and paste Millionaire, I would get like 50 job applications, and half of them would never show up. I'd waste days setting up interviews where people never showed up. After the copy and paste Millionaire, we have a video screening process to filter down to the best candidates, so that when they apply on Indeed or another platform, I'm sending them a link that asks them video questions. And so I'm able to whittle down from 50 down to the top 4, 5 people that actually take the time to submit the video questions, and then I'm able to assess them based upon the videos before I even set up an interview. So in the past, I might have offered 20 or 30 interviews to those 50 applicants. Now I'm offering 3 or 4 to the top candidates that I know will show up. It took me 19 years to figure this out. I was 11 years old when I started Andy's Lawn Care, mowing grass, saving up for college. And now I'm 30. It took me 19 years to figure this out. It cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars, making all sorts of mistakes, buying all the wrong equipment. It meant public failure and embarrassment. Because when you drop out of medical school at 18 and everyone thought you were going to be the next Doogie Howser and smart genius, and you start mowing grass, and then the only thing you have to show for it is this, it almost cost me my life. The copy and paste Millionaire helps you skip all of that. After meeting thousands of home service business owners, I noticed something. I noticed that all owners that sold their businesses, all owners with 3 million profitable businesses, all owners that spent less than 4 hours a week even thinking about their business because it was running without them, and all home service millionaires that I ever met used the same systems. So why does this matter? Well, if you want to be a home service millionaire, if you want to build a business that can be sold, and if you want to have a team that runs the business when you're not there, you will use the copy and paste Millionaire systems. All those systems that I learned, the common traits of those that were successful, I've compiled into this book. If you're like me, when business seems hard, you might think you need to jump ship, start another business, or switch industries. But you don't. You just need the copy and paste Millionaire systems and mindset. Installing the copy and paste Millionaire system changed my business. It changed my life. It changed my management style. It changed my mission. I actually want to read you something. And originally, I didn't plan when I wrote this to share this with everyone today, but this was back on earlier in 2025 when I was writing the book, and I did 9 drafts of the book. I just printed this, what you're seeing on the screen, but in Slack, I have this, I don't really do diarying or anything like that, but in Slack, I have this channel, it's called Highs and Lows. And what I do is, if I'm ever having a really high moment or a really low moment, I just go in there and I put like high, and I will write everything I'm feeling. And if it's low, I put low, and I'll just write everything I think. And so I have this Slack channel of all these highs and lows. So this is way back early 2025. This was not written to share with everyone, so there's some spelling mistakes and the grammar's kind of all over. I jump around. I didn't edit this for today's event. But let me read you what I was thinking early in 2025. This is on draft 4 out of 9. So it says low. This is in the Slack channel. This book is killing me. Why not just make another YouTube video? This draft is making me so mad. I just want to scream. I'm so frustrated. I'm frustrated that my fingers can't communicate the care I have for these owners through the keyboard. The pain I know they are going through. We all bottle it up. We die inside. Our relationships suffer. Our mental health suffers. We die in silence. It's more than money. It's time. It's family. It's missed hugs before work. It's missed family meals. It's forgotten date nights. It's arguments with spouses over finances. It's tiredness not cured with sleep. It's anxiety not cured by a vacation. It's excruciating pain masked by depression. Desperation. It's excruciating pain masked by desperation. I should have died under a dump truck. Why didn't I? Did I need to learn these systems and then share them? What if I had got under the dump truck that day, already married to Bree, kids? I can only imagine the pain of telling them Daddy had to close the business. These are the hardest working group of people in this country, and I'm talking about you guys. They work their brains out for years. The pain is excruciating. They can't share with anyone. Competitors would mock them. Online groups would poke fun at them. Friends don't understand. Family would tell them that they love them just the way they are. But they don't love themselves the way they are. They want more. More money, more impact, more freedom. We need a new way of thinking. We need a new operating system. The current one is broken. That's it. This can't just be a combination of stories. I need to take off the gloves. This needs to be prescriptive. Take a position and defend it. It's okay if some disagree. Stop trying to please everyone. Just say it. Tell them exactly what I did after the accident. Show the common mistakes of every turnaround and what makes Augusta locations successful. Base it on every size of business from $0 to $3 million. Get off the treadmill of grow at all costs for ego's sake. Build a profitable business that runs without you there. This can't be about Mike Andes. My mission is to make home service business owners rich. And I believe that money in the hands of home service business owners flows to families, churches, creating local jobs in the local community. Money in the hands of home service business owners prevents pain and unlocks opportunity. Today, for the first time, I'm asking you to join me on this mission. Our goal is to get this book in the hands of 100,000 home service business owners in 2026, to those that need it most. If you're just getting started, if you can't afford it, and you have an unprofitable business, I want to give the book to you for free in 2026. Please do not buy the book. The audiobook too. In 2026, I'll be giving you all of it for free. For everyone else, I'm asking for your help to reach the 100,000 book goal together. I've created 4 tiers of donation. They correspond with the 4 leadership hats: solo operator, working GM, full-time GM, and the GM plus. These 4 donation tiers, you've self-selected, you know which one you're in. I've made a donation tier for each of you. And to make sure it's worth exactly what you donate, I want to give you something I have never given before. My tools and one-on-one help to implement the copy and paste Millionaire system in your business. So, let's get started. This is the very first donation tier for the solo operator. So let's open it up. So this is the 10 book donation package. I'm gonna throw this all off set here. All right, if you donate 10 books, you're gonna give them to friends, family, local business owners that you might know, okay? Now, if you donate the 10 books, you're gonna get 80 plus print marketing templates for free. These are Canva and Photoshop designs for door hangers, flyers, postcards, and yard signs if you're in the green industry. So donate 10 books. 10 books is $34.99 a piece, so $349 in book donations. Now notice, this is what you're getting. If you go to lawncaremedia.com, we sell this full collection of 80 plus marketing templates every single day for $499. And this is what's included inside of those 80 templates. We have the instant quote door hangers for mowing, property clamps, for mulch installation, also a combo that you sell all 3 together. And there's a whole bunch of bonuses here for like your payroll, your call intake, employee business cards, estimate documents, invoice. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. Over 80 different designs, all of your print marketing demands used in templates like Canva and Photoshop. You can see there's a whole bunch of these, and these have been used millions of times already. Now, how can you redeem the 10 book donation tier? First off, just go to Amazon. The book is available there. You can buy 10 copies. And then once the books arrive from Amazon, just email me a picture of you with the books, okay? So you can just email book@mikeandys.com. You'll get instructions on the checkout page. But email me a picture of the books once they show up, and within 7 days, I will give you access to the $499 package on Lawn Care Media. You can get all the details, because I give a lot more detail, at mikeandys.com/Black Friday, or scan the QR code the team just put up on the screen. Thanks, guys. So there's thousands of designs that have been already sold on lawncaremedia.com. The full marketing collection is sold every single day for $499. So right off the bat, you're gonna save $150 and you're gonna get the 10 books on top of it. So again, go to the QR code, check out mikeandys.com/Black Friday. 10 books, all 80 plus different designs for your print marketing needs. If you're a solo operator, I promise you, this will absolutely light your business on fire for this coming spring rush. If you have these templates that have been proven to work, get instant quotes out in the front on door hangers, yard signs, flyers, postcards, etc. Now, I want to be really clear about something, because whenever you do this, let me move this off. Whenever you do this, people think that you're making a bunch of money. I want to be very clear. This is actually from Zach, the head of the media team. He sent me the screenshot. I want to be very clear. This is much more about impact than profit. And this is a screenshot from inside of Amazon. It's called KDP, where we set the pricing for the books. You can see here, Amazon will not let me put this book price for less than $34.62. So I am making a whopping 22 cents on this book when you get it, all right? Now I want to show you this, because this is actually the proof from Amazon, just to show that this is not like we printed this outside of Amazon. You can see the little not for resale. This is from Amazon. This is exactly what your book is gonna look like. It's a hardcover, but it's a textbook. This is extremely valuable. Like this, it's completely color, and throughout there's pictures. This is like the first chapter showing my story. But then more importantly, we start having graphs and charts, and you fill in certain areas. This is much more like a textbook than anything. And we have the drawings that the copy and paste Millionaire uses. I don't know if you guys can see that on this from this angle, but the different drawings that I've created for you to be able to digest this, and it's big. It's more than twice the size of any of my other books in terms of the length, as well as all of the materials that are inside. There's some hidden secret giveaways inside of it as well. But I just want to be really clear, because when people say like, oh, donation, no, he's making a bunch of money. I am making a whopping $2 when you make this 10 book donation, okay? So I just want to be really clear about that. We put everything into the quality of this. I haven't seen other books that do full color using photos. Instead of just like saying, here's how to do a website, I show you websites that do it. Instead of just showing what a good Facebook ad looks like, I show you. Instead of seeing, this is our training manual. This is the exact screenshot. This is my schedule that I use to be able to plan out my day. These are the type of things that are shown throughout the entire book, and there's QR codes throughout for a whole bunch of other resources, and I highly recommend checking it out. And for those of you that are doing the donations, I just want to make sure it's the highest value possible and you get some reward back. All right, we got more presents, because we've done the solo operator. Now let's talk about the next donation tier. Move this out of the way here. The next donation tier is for the working GM. Open this bad boy up. Now it's Black Friday. We figure we have gifts. So for everyone that is donating at the working GM model level, this is the 20 book donation tier for the working GM. If that's your size of business, I'm trying to move all this trash offset. Okay, 20 books, copy and paste Millionaire. This is the 20 book donation tier. Let's see what you're gonna get at this working GM size. All right, so you're gonna donate 20 books, just like it says here on the box, and you can give them to friends or local business owners, or I'll donate them for you. So the 10 books that we just went through for the solo operator, those are coming to you from Amazon. These 20 books, I'm gonna hold this like this. These 20 books are coming from me directly. So if you donate 20 books today using, it's all at mikeandys.com/Black Friday, or scan the QR code. If you donate 20 books, you're gonna get access to a private copy and paste Millionaire online workshop with me. So you donate 20 books, that's about $699 in book donations. You get a private online workshop with me with a max of 20 people, so I can have individual interaction with every single person. And you'll get the full video recording. Now, inside of that workshop, this is what we're gonna be going over. I'll walk you through the copy and paste millionaire method in depth. We'll decide for your business between scaling with multiple locations or growing one location to $3 million or more. I want you to have a really good game plan for what to do using the methods between the two options for the copy and paste millionaire. The second part of the workshop is gonna be a couple hours worth of Q&A. So what we will do is we're gonna put this down. We're gonna do the workshop later in 2026, like spring, summer, and fall. But by then you'll have read this and you'll have a lot of questions of implementing in your business. And so I want you to bring your toughest questions after reading the book, and I'll give you specific actionable answers. So we can customize the copy and paste millionaire system for your business and create a roadmap to get you exactly where you want to go. So what you're going to learn on the workshop. So you're going to talk about that $1 million fork. You got to decide, do I go into profit mode? Do I copy and paste? Or do I continue growing the GM Plus model? We're talking about hiring, training, and compensating general managers. Building mid-level management for sales, operations, and admin. We're going to talk about installing recurring revenue and instant quotes in your business, regardless of what industry you're in. We're going to talk about how you actually do grand openings for new locations and have a playbook for your ads. We're going to create leadership planning and exit and legacy decisions so that if you got hit by a bus or if you need to pass this business along or if you want to sell it, you have a plan in place. So donate 20 books. It's about $699 in book donations. And I just want to be clear, right now, if you go to mikeandes.com/coaching, people pay $2,000 for a 50-minute coaching call with me, and it's really expensive. So I'm trying to reduce the cost here by making this private workshop online. So save over $1,300 compared to having a one-on-one with me, and you get 20 bucks. Plus, but wait, there's more. You also are gonna get the $499 lawn care media marketing package. So those 80 templates, if you're like, I really wanted that, but I want this too. Great, if you get the 20 book package, you will also get the $499 lawn care media package with 80 plus templates on Canva, Photoshop for your door hangers, yard signs, flyers, and postcards. Okay, so in summary, the 20 book package. We got 20 books, we got the copy and paste millionaire workshop that's virtual, and the entire print marketing templates from alloflawncaremedia.com. Scan the QR code or go to the website. Now, on the 20 book package, at checkout, what's cool is you can determine if you want 1 or 2 books shipped to you, or if you want all of them. So at checkout, you choose if you want the books shipped to you, or if you want me to send the books to small business owners. So if you're like, well, I only want 2 or 3 of the books, I don't need 20. They're just gonna be thrown in the garbage. Great. Toggle it to where you only want 1 or 2. I will then donate the rest of them in 2026, and I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna donate them just so it's very, very clear. Okay, so at checkout, you have up to 20 books. You can do 1, 2, 3, 5, you can have all 20 if you want, shipped to you in 6 to 8 weeks. I'm trying to get it in before Christmas, honestly. But if you are not having, if you don't have 20 people to give them away to, I will donate them on your behalf. Now, this is something that's new. We just slid this in last minute. We're offering an exclusive Facebook ads training for anyone that gets the 20 book donation or above. So we're gonna go, because this is the working GM, this is the donation tier, 20 bucks. Anything that gets the working GM, full-time GM, or GM plus donation tier is gonna get access to this. It's only for the higher donation tier, not the solo operator. Spring 2026, I'm gonna create a video webinar and record it for everyone that donates today. I'm gonna show you how I spend $5,000 per day on Facebook and Instagram, how to use direct messages, lead forms, and the web leads strategy inside of the Facebook ad platform. And it's gonna be updated for the new Andromeda update that happened a few months ago inside of Facebook and threw some people off, but using AI, it makes it so powerful. Now, I'm gonna share a little bit more about this later on in the live stream, exactly what's gonna be on there and all the different things that I'm gonna be talking about. But I truly believe that this will be one of the most valuable pieces of content I make. And I'm gonna talk about later why I don't put this sort of content on YouTube. the bottom line is this content will be expired. Like, it will not be useful in 6 months because Facebook is changing their algorithm so much. And so this is going to be for spring 2026. This will make sure, I'll make sure you have it by March 1st to be able to actually execute this spring. But I can guarantee you, if I put this on YouTube, in 8 months, this is not going to work because the algorithm is changing. And so I will give you the exact strategies I use, and I'll talk more about this later in the live stream. All right, but let's move on. The full-time GM, let's see. This is the next biggest box. All right, let's bring this thing over here. Ugh. Okay, this one's big. Can you even see that? Okay, there you can. All right, let's move all this boxes off set here. Get trash out of here. Gotta keep the set clean. Okay, this is the full-time GM donation tier. And let's open up this box here. Very good. It's only Black Friday, but yet we're here opening up gifts. Seeing everyone in the chat. Let's go. Okay. This off here. Okay. All right. This is the full-time GM donation tier. Can you see that? Oh, wow. Let's go. That's like taking up the entire set. All right. It's 100 books. All right. Can I put this someplace else? We're going to put it like this. See if we can balance it. Oh. See? No. Oh, it's going to fall over. All right. We're going to have to hold this. Okay. Oh, we'll put it down. Okay. Let's talk about the 100 book donation tier. So this is a full-time GM. You're going to donate 100 books, and you're going to give them to friends, family, or I will also donate them for you. Here, let's see if I can put this up here. Ugh. There it is, 100 books. All right, so if you donate the full-time GM donation tier and 100 books, you're going to come visit our new headquarter building. This is where the studio is at. I'm upstairs. Big facility here, brand new. 2 days, the Copy and Paste Millionaire Intensive in person with me here at our new facility. It's about $3,400 in book donations. Now you're gonna get 2 tickets. You can bring you and your spouse, you and your general manager, you and your office person, you and your next general manager that starts the second location. You're gonna learn from my general managers, my regional manager, and my leadership team. You're gonna tour all of Command Center and see it in action. Now this is also capped at 20 seats, so it's nice and exclusive, and individual advice can be given. Here's what you're gonna learn. On day 1 of the intensive, we're gonna go over how to find and hire GMs for multiple locations. We're gonna talk about scaling the hub and spoke model where you have one location that starts building a command center and you start doing multiple locations from that main hub. We're talking about building management for sales, operations, and admin, and how to scale a command center for office support. We're talking about building a company with high enterprise value so you can sell it. Because it's a whole lot better if you have recurring revenue, simple services, and you've copied and pasted a business model to be able to go sell it to someone else demands a much higher enterprise value. Now in day 2, we're going to talk about wealth and legacy beyond just where you're currently at in your home service business. We're going to talk about family succession. How do you actually pass the business along to your heirs? Third-party sales, and trying to make sure you have great seller financing options in place. Some people don't want to sell their business. They'd rather do an ESOP, employee stock ownership program. We actually sell the business to their team over the course of time so that they retain the brand equity and your reputation isn't at stake by selling it to someone else. We're also going to talk about trust structures and tax-efficient estate planning so you can make sure that if you were to pass away, the business would be maintained and you wouldn't be taxed out to wazoo. We're going to talk about diversifying into real estate and other tax advantage accounts like a 401k, IRA to get over a $5 million net worth. All right, so I want to be clear. This is a function of trying to get donations for the books that I can send out in 2026. If you come though to this intensive and you're like, you attend every session and you don't believe it was worth it, just request a refund before you leave and I'll return your full investment, including whatever you donated towards the books. I'm that confident that this 2-day intensive will be some of the best education you've ever received. All right, so to recap for the full-time GM donation tier, it's a 2-day intensive, and usually you can actually see this at mikeandes.com/HQ. We sell these at $4,000 per ticket. You're getting 2 of those. So if you add the 100 books up, that's $3,400, plus the 2 tickets, that's $11,000 worth of value. And you're gonna save $8,000 today by getting all of it for $3,400. So 100 books. You also get to come in here for that 2-day intensive. And as an asterisk, Remember, you also get access to that Facebook's ads training for spring 2026. Again, go to MikeAndes.com/Black Friday or scan the QR code up there. Okay, so donate the 100 books. At checkout, you will choose if you want me to ship the books to you. You'll have a toggle of how many you want to come to you versus me donate on your behalf. And I will donate the rest of whatever you don't want shipped to you. I'll donate those to small business owners. It is going to take us like 6 to 8 weeks, by the way, to get the books to you. I'm shooting for earlier, but just with all the orders coming in, I can see them coming in right now. It's going to take us a while. So give us 6 to 8 weeks, and we'll get those out to you as soon as we can. But then we will donate the rest of them to other small businesses that need it in 2026. Now, for the ballers, we're talking about the GM Plus now. We've talked about the solo operator donation tier. We've talked about the 10 books that they can donate today. We talked about the working GM. We talked about the full-time GM. But for the players and those with 7 to 8 figure businesses, those that are wearing the GM Plus leadership hat. For years, I've been asked to share the secrets I used to grow a franchise to nearly 200 locations. And I've said very little about how we did that. I wanted to make sure we hit 200 locations because in that process, I have learned so much. It's been a very humbling experience to realize just how inadequate I was as a leader throughout all 200 of those locations and the things that I had to learn along the way. Today, I will share those secrets to those who step up to the plate and help me hit our goal of 100,000 books in 2026. So let me show you a little bit behind the curtain about franchising, and then we'll jump into this bit here. I'll pull it out front here. Then we'll jump into this guy and open up the GM Plus donation tier box. So Augusta Nation is different than any other franchise. We have no private equity. We are owned 100% by employees and franchise owners. We have no royalties. We give the initial franchise fee back to owners at the end of their 10 years, or at 5 years, they can use it to copy and paste another location. We have no national marketing fund because most of the time with franchises, their national marketing fund really turns into a bunch of ads to join the franchise. We waive the $24,000 initial fee for your loyal employees. This is a great retention tactic and attracting great talent to your technicians and your general managers. And that is if they work and they get through all 7 stages of success for a GM, they can become an owner for free. No $24,000 initial fee for them. We don't take a kickback from our preferred vendor discounts. A lot of preferred vendors, the reason that they are happy to give discounts to a franchise is because they're also giving 5 or 10% to the franchisor. We don't take any kickbacks. 100% goes right back to the owners. And when we go out and get discounts from GM or from Echo or Steel or Xmark and all of our vendors, we simply say we don't want a kickback, give every dollar possible back to the owners. We allow owners to leave at any time without penalty and with their customer base. I would challenge you to find one franchise that does this, where you can walk tomorrow without a penalty and keep your customers. And we have never used franchise brokers to sell a single location. When you book a call with a team, that is ringing in this headquarter building. And the team here that has worked with us for so long is answering those calls. We do not go through franchise brokers. Every franchise consultant, when I was considering starting the franchise, told me not to do these things. They said we could never make it. They said we wouldn't make enough money with our flat fee model. But they underestimated our community. With your help, we're almost at 200 locations at Augusta Lawn Care. And within the next couple weeks, we'll be over 200. We're well on our way to 1,000 location goal across the US, Canada, and Australia. I believe in franchising. I believe in the community it builds. I believe business success is more certain when you join a brand and a group of entrepreneurs. And there's a picture from our last conference with all of Augusta Nation. See, I was a franchisee before I was a franchisor. So before I started Augusta Lawn Care as a franchise, I was already a franchisee at Anytime Fitness. And I am still a franchisee there today. You have buying power as a franchisee. You have coaching. You have brand recognition. Tasks are taken off of your plate so that the general manager can focus on operations because the sales is taken care of for them with the website. And the command center is handling their admin side. things are taken off your plate. The likelihood of success is better because you can focus on the thing that really moves the needle, which is operations, getting the work done, and training your team for success. My goal is to make home service business owners rich. More of them would be rich if they joined a community like a franchise. But there's a problem. Private equity firms own most franchisors. They do not act in the best interest of their franchisees. They are full of fees. Their franchisees get raked over the coals. I hate this. I want to put pressure on these brands. I want to show that doing what is right for the owners works in the long run. So I want to share everything I have learned over the past 6 years of franchising, going from 1 to 200 plus locations. Why? So other franchises start to operate the same way. Profitable, sustainable, but focused on owner success, not flipping it to the next private equity firm. So here is something I have never shared before. All the secrets of how to start a franchise and scale it up. And that leads me to the GM Plus donation tier. Let's open this bad boy up. Let's see here. Oh, so this is, oh man, it has a lot of tape on it. Crazy. Okay, now this side. So this is for the GM Plus donation tier. I don't know if you guys can see this thing. It's massive. Oh, I gotta tear off more paper. We didn't get it all. Okay. Get all this paper out of here. Okay, this is the 400 book donation tier for the the GM Plus donation tier. All right, so again, you can check all this out with a lot more details at MikeAndes.com/Black Friday. But this bad boy is what you're getting. Okay, 400 books. Let's talk about what you're gonna be getting. You're gonna be getting a 2-day in-person franchise advisory right here at our headquarter building from myself. If you donate the 400 books, it's around $13,996. You're gonna get 2 tickets, and you're gonna learn directly from my franchise development team. So you're gonna tour Command Center, you're gonna see it in action, and then in the boardroom, which is that picture you're looking at right now, it's only 12 seats, so it's gonna be very intimate. Basically, that will be representative of 6 brands that are trying to franchise their business. So here's what you're gonna learn. Insurance traps that no one tells you if you're trying to start a franchise. We're gonna talk about how to fund growth without debt or private equity. We're gonna talk about compliance pitfalls that I fell into, because there's a lot of legal tape and registration stuff when it comes to franchising. We are licensed in like so many states and countries, it's crazy. Setting up a franchise advisory council and how important that is. How to set up daily communication with your owners. This is a game changer for us, daily communication with a live stream. How to set up preferred vendors and a coaching program, and why we give the initial franchise feedback. I believe in this to the core. If you treat the owners correctly, you create a solid system for them to succeed, the franchise can be profitable. We're gonna talk about how we achieve an NPS, that's Net Promoter Score, of 87. And you can look up what other NPS scores are for other businesses. Apple is I think like 74, 75. We're higher than Apple. And it can only go as high as 100. How to train new owners and create a learning management system, a software that they can learn, an academy they can get the video training and learn systems and allow their team to learn those same systems. How to manage social media and marketing for the franchisees. How we ranked in the top 500 franchisors according to entrepreneur.com. And how to set up a franchise fee forgiveness program for your technicians, because you have to do it in a certain way. How to maximize enterprise value if you are trying to sell or you're trying to exit the business. Now, exactly the same as the full-time GM donation tier, we're doing for the GM Plus donation tier. And that is, if you come to every session for the 2 days on the franchise advisory, and if you don't believe it was worth it, just request a refund before leaving, and I'll return your full investment, including the 400 book donation. I will give you back your money. I'm that confident this is the best training available for when it comes to starting and scaling up a franchise. So the 2-day franchise advisory usually costs $20,000 per ticket. And you can see that product at mikeandys.com/advisory. We will sell this for $20,000 in the future per ticket. By the way, you're like, that's a lot of money. Franchise consultants that have never built a brand in 2025 charge a whole lot more. And I know because I paid them. Legal counsel, consultants, how to do the marketing side of things, all of that I'm going to cover, I paid way more than 20 grand. But today, with the GM Plus donation tier, you're going to get 2 tickets. That's worth $40,000 that we will be selling these tickets for in the future. Plus the 400 books, that's $53,000 worth of value. And you're going to get all of this today for $13,996. That's saving 40 grand. If you've considered starting a franchise and you have a GM Plus size business, this is the best resource you will find on the market. And I just can guarantee it. There's no one else that's actually running a franchise with this many locations that has done it without private equity, without debt, and is actively trying to help owners like we've done at Augusta Lawn Care. So at checkout, you can choose to have the book shipped to you, all 400 or 5 or 10 or 100, whatever you want. And then the rest I will donate for you on your behalf in 2026. I'm going to show you exactly later on how we're going to do that because I know some people are like, we're going to donate. And they're like, well, where do they go? I will show you exactly how we're going to do it. I promise you in 2026, you will see me giving these books away. So go to mikeandys.com/Black Friday. Down below, you'll see the different offers of solo operator, the working GM, full-time GM, and GM Plus. Click on the GM Plus one, mikeandys.com/Black Friday. Now, all of these donation tiers, all right, I'm gonna move this thing out of the way. This thing is massive. All right, we're coming off set. Ugh. Okay, boom, okay. All of these donation tiers are only valid for this weekend. I wanna be really clear, okay? mikeandys.com/Black Friday. The links and the QR codes will be gone this time next week. This is the only time the donation tiers will be in effect with these discounts. Okay, so if you're like, I want to have the GM Plus and not pay $20,000 ticket, it is only this weekend. Okay, it is only this time. It will not be in the future. It's only for the book launch. So let's go through these really quickly. I put it all in summary on one slide. So if you're in the solo operator sized business, your donation gift that you're gonna get for donating 10 books is the full print marketing package at Lawn Care Media. Usually $499. You get it for free when you get the 10 books and just have them shipped to yourself on Amazon and you can give them away. Working GM. If you're the working GM size, that's $250,000 to $750,000 in annual revenue. For $699, that's 20 books you're gonna get. You also are going to get the virtual workshop with me for up to 3 hours of training and Q&A, customizing exactly to your business what you need to implement the systems and choose between scaling up to 3 million or doing copy and paste, multiple locations. And you're also going to get that $499 print marketing package. There's over 80 templates. Those are the templates I've used to scale up and hundreds of other business owners have as well. Now, full-time GM, this is if you're doing between $750,000 and $1.5 million, I've created this donation tier so you can come in person 2 days here to the facility at the headquarter building. You get 2 tickets for this, so $34.99, that's 100 books, and you also get that 2-day package. You're gonna have to cover travel, but everything here in terms of training, we got you covered. Even get you lunch, let's go. GM Plus model. So if you already are doing over $1.5 million in annual revenue, this donation tier is for you if you're wanting to franchise the business. If you have a bigger business and you're like, hey, I just want to figure out how to get to 3 million, the full-time GM might be better for you. If you're wanting to franchise the business, then I'd go here. And I know there are people who are coming to this live stream just for this because I've told some people like, hey, just come to Black Friday if you're interested in franchise training. A lot of people have been asking me for this over the course of the past several years. So 2 days of franchise advisory if you want to start a franchise, 2 tickets, it's 400 books that get donated. You get them all shipped to you, or I will donate them on your behalf in 2026. Again, the QR codes, the links are here. I've paid thousands for workshops. I've gone to workshops in person, online. I paid thousands of dollars for this. I paid tens of thousands of dollars for coaching. I've paid thousands each month to be in groups of other entrepreneurs that are like-minded. I've traveled for days to meet people for a few minutes of learning. Why? You only invest once, but the skills that you get are with you for the rest of your life. That's why skills are always the best investment. They don't depreciate. They stay with you forever. Now, I want to be clear about something, and that is the number of spots that we have available. Just because of we can't have so many in-person workshops and giveaways. So each of these do have a number of spots available. So for the solo operator, the first 400, it'll get capped at there. So if the links stop working, it's because the spots are filled. So they'll get cut off. Now, I'm doing the math for you here. If we get the 400 spots at 10 bucks, that's 4,000 at the solo operator model. If you look at the working GM model, we have the 200 spots available at 20 bucks. That's 4,000 more books. But if you add up all the donation tiers, we're only going to be getting to 30,000 bucks. Okay, I'm going to show you exactly why. But there's only 25 spots available for the franchise advisory, the GM Plus, and there's only 120 spots available for the full-time GM size donation tier. Again, we have to constrain this simply due to our schedule here at the headquarter building and fitting those in. And so there are limited capacity. So if the links stop working or the QR, we'll probably have a landing page that just tells you like, hey, sorry, it's filled up. And based upon what's coming in, I think we already have filled a couple of the slots. So yeah, I would go there as soon as you can. Yeah, a couple of the slots already look like they're filled up and the in-person stuff. So anyways, if you look at all the donations for today, our goal is 30,000. You're like, well, I thought it was 100,000. My goal is to send about 6,000 books per month myself out of my pocket in 2026. That's about 72,000 books, 6,000 times 12 months of the year. So if we can get the other 30,000 today, we will be able to hit our 100,000 book goal. So I'm going to cover 70,000. I will send those out completely on my dime. I'm asking for help on the other 30,000 because like I know I can budget for the 6,000. But if I could get help on the other 30,000 books, that would allow us to hit the goal. And I really would appreciate it. Now, quick note, this is 100% tax deductible. If you come out here and travel and you're coming in person, if you're doing a donation, but more importantly, the training, talk to your accountant, but this is 100% deductible. Also, 100% guaranteed. If you show up at this in-person event for the GM Plus or the full-time GM donation tier, that's the 100 or the 400 book, and you come here in person and you're not satisfied, I will just give you your money back. Because I just genuinely believe this is the best money you could spend, and you get to do something by helping other entrepreneurs along the way with the donation. Now, I want to be clear, over 5,000 people registered for this event. I'm not sure how many are live, but over 5,000 people registered for this event, okay? Now, I also have over 50,000 people on my email list. They're all home service business owners across different industries. And I'm going to be emailing them today with these offers. If 1% of them, kind of a low conversion, donate books during this launch, all the available spots for the donation tiers will be filled. So I'm saying that because if you're live, you got to do it now. We will fill up all those spots and get to the 30,000 during the launch. So again, these are the 4 different tiers. You can screenshot this if you need. This shows you exactly what you're getting in terms of the gift and what the cost is only on the launch, in addition to all the books that you'll be receiving. I want to say thank you, though, for joining me on this mission. I really do appreciate it. Whether you've Augusta Lawn Care or Copilot or Lawn Care Media or Home Service Web Design, there have been so many people supporting this vision, and that's what allows me to donate the 72,000 on my side, and I'm asking for the 30,000 book donation from everyone here today. I want to say thank you for joining me on this mission. If you got value from my free podcast and my live streams, if you got value from my free training like landscapebusinesscourse.com or MBAforentrepreneurs.com, all of this is free. If you've gotten value from Home Service CPA and you get free 30-minute consultations with Chelsea and the team about your taxes and your bookkeeping and your payroll, if you've gotten value from that, if you got value from the free web design and SEO, search engine optimization consultations that we have at homeservicewebdesign.com, it's all free. If you got value from that, if you got value from my free audiobooks, from my free workshops, all the off-season workshops, the books, P4P University, all this is free. If you've ever gotten value from my free 3 times per week email newsletter, if you ever got value from my free turnaround show that I share on YouTube and share every single Friday across the country visiting these business owners. We don't charge them and we don't charge you to view it. If you ever got value from calling or chatting with my free Mike AI tool, over 57,000 people have messaged it and you've been able to use it. If you've got value from that, please donate some bucks. With that said, while you're checking out, and there's the link, again, it's like everywhere, we'll keep it up. Let's just keep it up. The QR code, the link over here, mikeandys.com/Black Friday. While you're checking out, as promised, I will now reveal a few announcements that I have worked on for years. After that, don't worry, I have not forgot. The red box is still here. Everyone's gonna receive this gift worth $597. But first, so many of the copy and paste Millionaire systems depend on software. The copy and paste Millionaire uses software to build a business that runs when they are gone. It is built to leave. I started Copilot CRM 2 years ago, but I've never shared exactly how it got started. See, a private equity firm, they kind of messed stuff up, bought up the software company that we were using at Augusta Lawn Care. And the founders left, and basically it became like a subsidiary of a credit card processing company. And private equity started raising prices a bunch. It was like over $1,000 per month to get texting, automations, and a client portal for my one location. And honestly, that wasn't a big deal because I believe that for admin, software is really the best dollar for dollar investment that you can have in the office. But they really only cared about securing our card processing fees because they were owned by a credit card processing company. They didn't really care about optimizing the software for me to run my business more efficiently. They hid behind walls of legal jargon, they abandoned the care for their owners, and they cut investments in their product development. Their best people left, they cut support, and they've been stuck between like version 2 and version 3 for over 5 years, stuck between apps, and like some people use it, some people don't, sometimes there's bugs and glitches, and like you kind of bounce back and forth. They failed to upgrade their servers and cloud infrastructure to meet modern demands. This creates a liability from a security perspective and the ability to be able to scale the business. Worst of all, the conference, the community, and camaraderie of members fell apart. What used to be their academy was turned into just nothing. It was no community. And the conference went from like 800 people and super tons of excitement to like less than 100 and just stale, and no one even went into the conference hall. In 2022, I actually spoke with their leadership team in Dallas, Texas. I told them that the vision of the software was unclear and the soul was gone. I told them if something didn't change, I would be forced to start my own software on behalf of Augusta Nation that needed software to run their business efficiently. Almost all of that leadership team that I spoke to has since left the company. Later on, they had attorneys contact me. They threatened to sue me if I didn't remove videos and my book, which mentioned their trademark. So that is how Copilot CRM started. And I knew starting that journey, it was going to be extremely difficult 2 to 3 years to be able to get caught up to where we could actually start building the systems required for this book to be possible inside of the software. But today, you get to see why Copilot was started. The systems in the book are not possible without software. The goal is to run the business without being on site. Automations, metrics, and dashboards aren't optional. They are the operating system. But many systems in the book were not easy to implement in other software programs. So over the past 2 years, I have been building the copy and paste Millionaire systems into Copilot CRM. Sales systems, operation systems, admin systems. To ensure that the copy and paste Millionaire systems are possible in 2026, we are making massive updates to Copilot CRM. Now, it's been longer than I had hoped to be able to get to this point. It's been a lot of recruiting and a lot of changing of the team and the code base, but we're making massive updates so that in 2026, every single system inside the copy and paste Millionaire is possible using the software. This will enable the new operating system, this new way of running a home service business. Every system in the book will be made easy using the software. But first, I want to go over all the changes and additions that have been added to Copilot in 2025. Then I will share a very, very big announcement. So let's first off go over some of the new features that are inside of Copilot. In 2025, we reimagined a new customer portal with a mobile-first design because we realized that 80% or more of estimates are accepted on a mobile device. So it's got to be optimized for a small screen. Every page was rebuilt on a new code base for speed and reliability. For the tech nerds out there, we went from PHP to React. There you go. Other feature we got in 2025 was we rebuilt the tipping flow. We made it easy for customers to reward your crews for their hard work. We also built Field Force, a mobile app for technicians. It's very simple in terms of design. So when you're out in the field, it's not as clunky. It works offline. It's great. Sized buttons, the ability to be able for your crews out in the field, whether they have service or not, to be able to add notes, clock in and out, add media. Now let's talk about the features we built specifically to make the copy and paste Millionaire systems possible. What I shared so far is some of the new features we added in 2025. But now let's talk about the features we added specifically so that the systems of the copy and paste Millionaire are possible. All right, so some of the new features for the copy and paste Millionaire method. Estimate declined reasons. In other words, when someone rejects an estimate, when they decline, they have to give me a reason why. Because if I know that and they say it's price, I might have another offer, I can get another swing at closing the deal. Every single estimate that clicks reject, they have to give a reason why. Also, command center login. The ability for multiple locations to have quick access between locations without having to log in and log out, log in and log out. Quick, easy access, single sign-in access. Another feature for the copy and paste Millionaire specifically that we created was card on file requirements. They were integrated directly into the acceptance estimate flow. You'll never ask for a credit card again when you go into the settings inside Copilot and you check a box that says card required. If you do that, before they click accept, they have to put a card on file. That way, when you're notified that an estimate has been accepted, you already know you can put them on the schedule. No back and forth, no awkward conversations. Deposit thresholds were integrated directly into the estimate acceptance flow. No more back and forth, having a job in limbo you can't put on the schedule because you're waiting for a 50% deposit. You have a card on file, a deposit paid, and then when you're notified the estimate has been accepted, you can put it on the schedule and the money has already gone through. No more waiting, and have better cash flow. We added the pay in full feature. This allows loyal customers to pay up front with zero friction. If you have someone that values their time, they do not want to pay a second invoice after you complete the job. They'd rather just pay you in full because they've been with you for years and they know you do a great job. This is huge for your cash flow. Right next to where they're paying a deposit, there's just an option like, hey, we just want to pay the entire estimate total. And you'd be amazed at how many people select that option once they've done service with you for years in the past. Another feature we added so that the copy and paste Millionaire can run their business without being there in person is getting your crews, managers, and customers on the same page using video. There's other software like Company Cam, for example, that does this really, really well. But it's expensive and it's another software package I have to use. We built this inside of Copilot where it builds in compression for up to 50 megabyte video files. That's over 10-minute videos that are high definition. So 720, it's like 12, 13 minutes you can put directly into Field Force. It compresses the file and it attaches it inside of the CRM. I can then download that and use that for a job. So I never have to set foot on the property. And best of all, I can do estimate videos, upsells, equipment repairs, and project updates without going back to the property, and no more link sharing. Like we used to upload it to WhatsApp, then hopefully 6 weeks later when we needed the video, it was still there, we could find it, or we'd put it into YouTube, but that would take 10 or 15 minutes, and then we have to share that link, and it's oh, it's unlisted versus private. It was a headache. I did it because it saved me going back to the property, but now with Field Force, having those estimate videos, valuable. Upsell videos that I can attach the video to the visit and the customers see that in the customer portal, or I download that and then send that to the customer. Either way, being able to do these upsells and even big project updates. If someone's out of town, you're doing a 3-week project at their house, the ability to make a quick video for 30 seconds at the end of each day with a project update and put it in the customer portal is very valuable. We also create infinite recurring visits. with off seasons, so you never have to pause or restart services again. When you set up a recurring series, you just set up the event to happen every single week or every other week forever. And then it just automatically pauses during the off season. Because in the past, when we had 500 or 600 recurring series, we had to pause them all at the end of fall and then restart them all up again in spring. And inevitably, we'd forget a few jobs, and that led to unhappy customers and lost revenue. Now, I want to introduce the team that made it all possible. So we're going to bring them on set here in just a second. I'm going to move this bad boy out of the way. We will come back to it. Everyone's going to get this, but I want to introduce the team that made all this possible and has made so many changes to the Copilot system that really allows the copy and paste millionaire method to be possible. So we're going to do a little bit of transition here. So give us a moment here as we just kind of readjust the set. And they're going to be coming on. I will introduce them all, but we're going to bring a bit of a podcast style setup here for you on the live stream. And I want to introduce a couple of you. Whoa, here we go. Okay, so we're going to go over some of the new and upcoming features that are coming to Copilot to make sure that the copy and paste millionaire method that we have talked about is actually going to be possible. So let's get situated here. Boom. I want to introduce to you a few of them. This is Dan Blaisdell. He's our VP of Engineering. You can't see him. So there you go. Okay, fantastic. This is Dan. He's our VP of Engineering. He's come on in the past several months and is head of the engineering side of things. And then we got Josh Kale, our VP of Product. And we got Nathan, our VP of Design. So we're going to just hop in here, talk a little bit about what's been brewing at Copilot, but also what's to come in 2026 to make sure that everything we've launched in the book is actually possible inside of Copilot. So let's first talk about the waitlist. Let's first talk about what the waitlist is, what problem it solves, and then I want to go into kind of the gap that we saw when creating the waitlist that we've now solved that problem as well. So Nathan, as the design side of things, what were we hearing from our members in terms of the wait list, and what were they looking to do and solve in their workflow?
Yeah, it was absolutely the number one requested feature was like, we need a wait list. And the problem that people are having is that they know that this is an event that they need scheduled, but they don't know where it fits in their schedule. And we needed to give them a place, a holding ground to take care of this has been created and you can slot it into your schedule as you see fit. So that's what was the impetus for us creating the wait list.
Got it. And so like, what's an example of this happening in the real world? Like, an estimate gets accepted, why would I need a wait list? Is it a matter of like, I don't know when it's going to go in the schedule, or it could be like weather dependent? When is this going to actually be used?
Yeah, those are all really valid use cases. It could be weather dependence, could be something that doesn't fit into their regular day-to-day cadence. It could be like project work, could be something where there isn't a critical need for this. You just want to get this work taken care of. The client isn't on a time crunch, so you just want to like have visibility into it. So when you have openings in your schedule, or your recurrings leave an open gap, or you have extra capacity for a given week, that you can kind of pull from this to supplement and fill up your schedule.
Now, as we were kind of looking at the wait list and hearing from our members, there started to become this gap. And I think what for a lot of us we in the past used to do is an estimate gets accepted. I'm going to go to the estimates page. I'm going to filter down the ones that are accepted. I'm going to click on that estimate. I'm going to see all the line items that were accepted, and then go into those and then schedule from there.
Yeah.
So when was it that you kind of realized there's this gap between an accepted estimate and the wait list? Because even if I'm throwing on the wait list, there's still this other thing.
Yeah.
What was that realization, and what did that manifest? And then I'll spoil it here, the unscheduled work side of things.
Oh, spoiler.
Yeah.
To be honest, it showed up when we started digging into what do people mean when they're asking for a wait list? Because a lot of people did need this holding ground that we created and is now our feature known as waitlist. Other people, what they really needed was to keep track of work that needed scheduled. And for those people, like you said, they do have an existing workflow where they can go to estimates, filter them by approved. Maybe they got the notification that there was newly approved, so they kicks off the workflow. They can look at the list and then estimate by estimate, dig in and make sure each of those list items on that estimate has been scheduled. And we thought that's a lot of friction. That's a lot of something you have to teach someone in office. And there should just be a place where you land and it can just tell you, here's everything that is approved to work on, but you got to put it on the schedule. And that's what gave birth to the unscheduled work.
In the Copy and Paste Millionaire, we talk a lot about creating systems so that the business can run without the owner there. And when it comes to admin and even operations, getting the work done, the sale's been taking place, but now we need to put this on the schedule. I started to really think about unscheduled work in a different way when you mentioned this. And as I come in on a Monday morning, there's 10 estimates accepted. As the owner, I need to explain to someone to get those on a schedule. In the past, I would say, okay, go to the estimate page, filter it down, click on each estimate, open up each line item, then open up another tab, look at your calendar, and figure out where you can put it on. Or just throw it on the wait list.
Yep.
I think the thing that made most sense to me is you're like, just go to the unscheduled work tab.
Yeah.
And from there, you can schedule.
Yeah, let Copilot do the heavy lifting for you. You know, you shouldn't have to be an expert to be able to step in on day one and be able to help meet your company's needs of like, I just got to get stuff onto the schedule that we know needs on the schedule. And this really delivers on that. So you don't have to have known all the rigorous technical details of like how to go to the estimate list, where to find them, what to filter for, how to check if the whole estimate is scheduled or just one of the items is scheduled. We really think that we can make the software do that thinking for you.
Now, we launched Unscheduled Work and Waitlist this week.
Yep.
What's on the horizon? Obviously, this is our minimum viable product. Right now, the waitlist handles one-time jobs, and we're working on multi-step programming and recurring jobs on the waitlist. What's to come for unscheduled work? What's that hole that we're kind of plugging right now? What's the potential of that in the future for the copy and paste millionaire that wants things done for them?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think this is really the start of engaging with that holistic practice of scheduling and getting the software to help you do that. This is a great first step in that it's surfacing it all in one place. One of the things you're still going to have to do is when you do this scheduling work, you might have to look at what are my current routes? How close are they in geography? What capacity do I have on any of those to be able to backfill additional space? If I have a new recurring mow, where does it fit into my, do I put it on Monday? Do I put it on Tuesday? And we know that there are places in the platform that give you an insight into that, mainly the dispatch board right now, also the schedule. And so what we're looking at in the future is to be able to bring in that context right alongside this. So can I see my map along this? Can I see my capacity? Can I see what routes are happening so that I can make an informed decision when I'm grabbing this newly approved work and trying to place it correctly on the schedule?
And more importantly, being able to give it to someone that might not be the owner, that has all that contextual knowledge.
Exactly.
Being able to make a good decision in terms of where that job should go.
Yep, absolutely.
Awesome. All right, let's talk about save routes. This is on the dispatch board. This is a first step we've made in the direction of improving this page. Maybe you would walk me from a designer's perspective, what we're doing this page to make it as easy as possible for a dispatcher to dispatch quickly. Again, thinking from the admin perspective or the operations manager that's trying to do this quickly and efficiently, whether you're on the other side of the world or someone's doing it remotely for you. How are we trying to simplify this right now? And what's the first step of what save routes are in the platform?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to take the designer hat off and just try to sit in the shoes of the person who has to come to the dispatch board and spends many hours there every day, there's a lot of tedious work. It's Monday and they know the recurring route they're setting their team up for success with, and they have to come in every Monday and like drag the first route to the first one, drag the second to the second, do all of that work. They know exactly what it needs to be, and they have to go through all the steps. And we didn't want them to have to keep doing that every Monday. So now when you set an order for a series of events, you're able to persist that order, you're able to save it for this week and every single week, or if you're working on a bi-weekly schedule, you can set it to save going forward in a bi-weekly manner.
So really just saving that optimization every single day for the same general route. What's some of the improvements even in 2026 that we're working on around save routes and even making that more concrete?
Yeah, so it returns to kind of the same thing that we had spoken about prior, is trying to bring in the context of other things to codify what your routes are. So being able to, on that dispatch board, not only persist the route, but maybe build out more truly what a route is. Does this belong to one crew? Does this belong to a specific type of work? Does it have a limit in terms of like, for this crew, I can only work up to 20 hours of capacity? Can you help me, Copilot? You know all the information of the events that are here. Can you draw me a smart route? Can you try to, here's my rough geographic area. Can you do the work of putting these in order and optimizing for whether it's traffic patterns or weather conditions? How can we take that lift off of the admin people and just have you feed into the system the things you know and have it respond with an answer to the problem you have?
And even one of the basic things this week that we put out was on the dispatch board that I really like is the ability to edit the route from the map instead of going down to the list always.
Absolutely.
And even seeing the driving pattern, between one of the most frustrating things as a dispatcher is I click optimize and I know that's not the most optimal route, but now to be able to see where is it actually thinking you should be driving in terms of the roads and then being able to work off of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that's gone into making that map more responsive with information that is just a little further down the page as you're scrolling. So making sure the selection is consistent, making sure the routing is consistent, and making sure that you can make those changes that you used to have to make only, like I'm going to make a selection and then go down to the list and change the order. Now being able to do that from the route view. So again, very similar of trying to bring in multiple contexts or multiple ways to slice the same information so that you get the tools you need to do your problem solving.
And I think like all of these features that we talked about so far really parlay into the idea that admin is an overhead cost to the business.
Absolutely.
Every minute that we spend dispatching or trying to collect payment or do anything besides doing the work and making money is overhead cost to the business. So instead of routing something 5 times in a week, if I can do it once, I effectively have reduced the cost of routing by 80%.
Yeah.
So let's move on. I want to go on the engineering side, Dan, and talk just a little bit about the speed, the reliability, some of the changes we've made. I know in the past, Copilot has had issues and bugs, and we've moved through that because of the team. But from your perspective and your experience, what's sort of been the improvements that you've made on the engineering backend?
Yeah, so we're covering a lot of areas. Reducing bug counts, just making the software more stable in general. But as we get past that, we can start looking at both new features, like we were just discussing, as well as just optimizing what's already there and just trying to increase the speed. So, I actually personally have created a dashboard for myself that shows me anytime a page load or a query goes over 1 second, and I just track that, and I track it. What are the most recent ones that are actually happening in the system right now? How can we reduce those and cut those down? We want the worst case scenario to be a query taking 1 second, if that can be possible, and I think we're getting closer and closer to that.
What was the worst case? Like when you first came in, do you remember the worst case?
You know we're live, Mike.
I've seen some taking 60 seconds, or like timing out.
Is that usually dispatch board? Like, because there's so much.
Yeah, related to events. So some companies that have been around a while, especially if you're doing recurring events, there can be tens of thousands of events. Also, you have SMS. If a company is heavily using text conversations, there can just be a big backlog. So depending on the page that you're loading, there can just be a huge scan of a giant data set, and it's just not optimized. So we look at that, and we look at exactly how is that data being loaded, how can we make that faster. So I think tracking real cases, too, everything can be theoretical, but I can see what was the slowest thing, how do we speed that up. So, and all of this translates into someone's actual experience with using the site. It translates into a company's numbers, their business, their efficiency. So, if you can save someone a second every time they load a page, that adds up across the company. That can be, we were calculating like rough numbers for a company that could add up to, $1,000 in labor time, saved just by increasing the speed.
Yeah, we looked at it kind of like how many times someone actually opens up the Field Force app, actually interacts, and then your admin team, like every day our admin team out here, probably thousands of page loads. So if I can shave off a second or two of each page load, effectively that's cutting down my overhead, or out in the field, allowing my team to stay doing work, not waiting for a page to load.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
I want to bounce it over to you, Josh. Those of you who might have been at Blue Collar Summit have already met Josh. He joined kind of very early on in our transition out of bug hell. And I wanted to pass it to you in terms of what I believe is really the core as to what the biggest improvements have been over the past couple of years, which is adding the skill and the depth on the team, bringing the right people on the bus. Speak to that maybe,
Sure.
and even I know we have our org chart and there's so many names even beyond this in terms of support and the non-technical roles, but maybe walk me through your experience from that perspective.
Yeah, we've been fortunate to build a team that has decades of experience in this domain, in home services and small businesses and marketing tech. You're looking at a couple of them here, but we've a lot of the team that's been built has also, contacts that we've known, right? So Nathan had a number of, front-end engineers and designers that he was aware of. Dan has also brought in, a number of contacts that he have. One of the really, special things though is that there was a really good core team to start, right? Like we weren't starting from zero. We had really good design, a really good product, really good support and operations. So we've just been building off that. Really, really excellent team. Really excited to be part of it.
I think that's ultimately the difference between even 2 years ago, we were looking at the other day, like it's almost 2 years ago exactly from the Black Friday when I said, hey, like join Copilot. At the time, I think I looked back, I think within a matter of 30 days, we tripled user base. And that's when we had all the bugs, the back end started to just melt, and we had so many problems. And the day that started changing was when we started having the right people, the right team, and just the high caliber of individuals that we have.
Yeah, I've said that before, but I think when I came in, I started initially doing some consulting for the business. I just realized you needed more gray hair. You needed to have people who have experience and battle tested, who've kind of been in the trenches. And again, just the collective experience. We have like a really interesting opportunity because of like a confluence of a couple of different things. The labor market and the tech space has taken a big hit. So there's been a lot of really good talent that's looking for new opportunities, and also that combined with your incredible vision, it's been really compelling. I don't want to speak for these guys, but that was why I joined. I wanted to work for someone that had a really clear vision of where we're going, and I've worked at companies where we didn't have that, and so I think that your vision with just the opportunity in the labor market really has allowed us to build a pretty killer team moving forward.
One thing that I've already talked about a little bit in the live stream, and seeing private equity move into this world so much. Obviously, the dollar bills, especially during 2021, 2022, were just off the charts. So much private equity moved in, venture capital, et cetera. All three of you, I think, experienced that to some degree in your previous positions. One thing you said yesterday really caught my attention, Dan, and that was about the other architectures in home services, but even the CRM world at this size that are serving our audience, home service business owners. What is your perspective from an engineering perspective? Because I see even the software we used to use before building Copilot, just not adopting a lot of the new cloud-based architecture that's required to scale and allow us to tap into tools like we've already started talking about, like waitlists, et cetera. What is your perspective from an engineer's perspective on that topic?
Yeah, with a lot of these industries, you have a lot of these kind of incumbent softwares that were built, 10, 15, 20 years ago, and they're just using really outdated technologies, technologies that were kind of, I think, started in the budding, days of the internet. And you've got these systems where might even be not to get too technical, but you're actually just running an actual server, and that server has all of your files on it, and it's just one thing. And if that thing were to go down, everything goes down. And in today's world, that's just that's unthinkable. But there could still be a lot of legacy systems that are using things like that, and just using technologies that it's just really easy to break. And so companies get really afraid to innovate because as soon as you change something, you're breaking something. So the cost of innovation is really high. And then you also look at the speed of innovation. So like we were talking about with time saved, with page loads. Well, I think in developer time, what's the cost of the technologies that you're using? How fast can a developer do their job? And so something like Josh was mentioning, we've all done this before. We know how a team should operate. I was just talking with Nathan before this about when you first start your career, even in the first 5 years, there's a lot of questions about, we could do it this way. We could do it this way. And over time, you really develop strong answers to those questions. And so I think this is a team that we kind of know what we're doing. We know how it can operate. And we know how it can operate with current technologies. So we're trying to optimize how fast can we innovate so that, we were talking about this, we can move at the speed of thought. So as soon as we come to a decision, Nathan comes with good designs, we can implement that. And we can do it in a way we're not afraid that as soon as we do that, it's going to break everything. So I think you have a lot of these old companies that are just completely tripping on themselves with, they don't want to touch anything because they're going to break something. The technologies, they don't trust them. And they're just going to stay on that, whatever the hosting technology or whatever it is that they're on, because they don't want to innovate because it kind of works, and so they're going to make as much money as they can just off of that model until it dries up. But that's kind of the paralysis that I think really impacts a lot of these industries.
Yeah, I think one thing I found really interesting, what you're talking about the other day too, is the ability for us to switch even from an older architecture like PHP, for example, to React. And that's just a code base. That's a name. It's a language, whatever. But I think the reason I'm really happy is because with waitlist, with unscheduled events, it's the first part of the CRM that's being touched by this new technology. And it is showing what's possible as we go into 2026, as we go to the estimate lists and every other aspect of the CRM. And then we've obviously throughout 2025 first looked at the client portal, and I've already talked about this, and the payments and making that architecture solid on this new platform. But can you speak to the importance of doing that now? And obviously it's a painful process of just swapping everything over, but allowing us to, once it's done, not only be bug-free like we are right now with the customer portal, and all that work, but also allow us to iterate much faster and move much faster in the future.
Yeah, I mean, and we're really proud that the customer portal and the new Field Force app, our average intake of bugs every week is 0. Like, we're just not, we're not spending our time managing fire drills around those apps right now. Now, there might still be rough edges or things that come in that we want to react to or change or improve or do follow-ups, but we're just not spending all of our own resources trying to fix bugs. But yeah, going beyond that, I think we're laying a foundation for all the technologies that allow us to actually, it's almost like it's a coding language, but like being able to express the app that we want, easily and have that be created. And so, again, on the design team, if they're able to put together a framework for here's how the buttons are, here's how the tables are, here are all these design patterns, we now have all those Legos, so we can kind of assemble and reassemble them for each page in the product. And that takes some time. There is some risk in something like that, but doing it into technology that allows that expressiveness and also is really stable by its nature. So with things like React, TypeScript, some of the technologies we're using, a lot of times if you put in something that's going to break, it's flagged. It turns red. Like as a developer, you're typing it in, and if it's wrong, it just tells you. You're not finding out. Your users aren't telling you.
Yeah.
With PHP, so many things just about that technology. You're finding out when someone calls you, and so much of this is now front loaded. And so I think as we're putting all these frameworks in place, the design language in place, there was a little bit of a ramp up, but I think we're actually just starting to get to momentum, and I don't even think we're at our full momentum yet.
Yeah, I agree. Even in the past week or two, just the speed at which we release, make iterations, make improvements, releasing the Spanish side of things for the Field Force, just so many little improvements because now the road is in place for us to go faster on.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot to get a mobile app out. Just the approvals for these stores, there is a little bit of just doing that and breaking into it, but now we've got this machine moving. We've got all that process, and now we can do these releases, every day if we need to, and without a lot of fear that we're bringing everything down, every time we make a change, so we can do those incremental improvements.
Absolutely, and it's been really exciting. One of the things that has been brought to mind as we've been talking through this and getting excited for this Black Friday launch is that this actually is the first time that we're bringing a fully revamped and modern experience into the CRM. We've been working on so many different things that the differentiation of where it actually lands for any of our end customers maybe wasn't drawn to me. And the idea that we've invested so heavily in stabilizing our foundation so that what we're building on now can run at full speed, that we have a system that can grow with us and not break.
I love it. I want to pull back the curtain a little bit and talk about what's coming this next year. We've talked about waitlist, unscheduled work, Field Force. So much has been delivered this past year. And now as we're entering into the CRM side of things, let's talk about some of the features that are on the horizon. I want to talk about something that's so core to how the copy and paste millionaire thinks, and that is I get the estimate to the customer as fast as possible. Now, in the perfect world, I'd be able to do it over the phone, or I'd be able to not have to go in person. There are some projects, if it's a $50,000 job, I have to show up in person, or at least do a drive-by. Now, these are the ways I can give an estimate. This is one of the pictures inside of the book. But there are times I need to meet the customer, go over the scope of work, see exactly what is included. I'll take a video. I'll make sure it's attached to my Field Force app so I don't have to come back. But getting that information from budget hours, yards of material, all the different components and supplies that go into the job to a dollar amount that's shown on an estimate that a customer clicks accept or reject on, there's a gap there. And we recognize that. Nathan, can you speak to kind of that estimator's dilemma, as we call it?
Yeah.
And then maybe from the back end, talk about the pricing and how we're kind of marrying that. I'm sending an estimate, but getting it to the customer as fast as possible instead of on the weekend I will work on this project of 3 hours of compiling my spreadsheets and getting this quote put together.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you said, there's this estimator's dilemma, and there is what we're calling the price book as a new feature set, and those two kind of play very directly with each other. The items and services that we have in the platform right now, they do allow you to explicitly, build out pricing for your items, your materials, your labor, all of those things. But you are kind of hamstrung in the way that you end up presenting those to your potential customers. On an estimate, everything's publicly visible, right? You can't have, hey, here's how we model the world internally, and then I want to hide some of that, and so that I can just show a nice, pretty estimate to someone who I'm trying to convert to be a customer.
I'll show you the hedge installation.
Exactly.
But behind that, I have 24 arborvitae, 6 budgeted hours, 3 yards of soil, etc.
Exactly. So these two problems are very interrelated. And to the price book of it all, we needed to give them a really accurate set of tools to manage the pricing models for each of those. Labor scales differently than those materials versus items that you have a cost and a quantity to, and you're counting down and trying to keep track of the inventory. And we also need to allow you to model that world and that pricing realistically and accurately so you can recall it once you have it modeled. You don't have to do this every single time, but then also give you the power in your estimating workflow to be like, I did all of this modeling of the world, but I'm going to roll it up into this one nice little, like you said, here's this project for hedge trimming. And like, that's all they see. And it's the next time I do that project, I'm just pulling back up the existing price book work or price modeling that I've done ahead of time.
And ultimately saving so much time because our goal is to put it on the mobile app.
Absolutely.
So as the estimator, I'm walking the property, I'm tapping my buttons of how many arborvitae, how much soil, how many budget hours, and boom, there's the price, and I can send it versus pushing it up to tonight doing...
Yeah, right when you're on site. Like this should not be something that's limited that you got to call, even if you have to go through the, further back in the turtle and hair analogy, like you have to do an in-person because you got to you can't just use the satellite and draw a thing. You got to go look at it, but you don't have to call back to home base to be like, go put these things into the system. Even if you had a good pricing model, you should be able to complete that estimate right there, show it to the customer. Hey, here's what we're looking at. Do you want to go ahead and close on this estimate so we can get you on the books?
Absolutely. Did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah. I mean, I think this all speaks to why I'm excited to be at this company. I think in general, like we were talking about earlier, like coming in, being at a company where the owner owns the company, knows the business, is really involved, and a company where you've got this top-notch product team, and we're actually able to listen to customers. So I have a lot of credit to Josh and for setting up meetings with customers where we can actually talk, find out how they're doing things. We want to make the process as efficient as possible, but we've also been sitting down with customers and having them show us how, the users of the software, show us how you're doing this. And I think in some cases, the software it wasn't modeling their pricing the way that they're actually doing it. And so anytime we see that a customer of our software has to sit and build a spreadsheet with all their pricing, kind of model everything outside of the system, and then input just
the dollar amount.
Dollar amount, lawn mowing, and they're doing that, on every estimate separately or whatever. We want to actually sort of do our best to model what's happening in the real world without overcomplicating the software. So we're trying really hard to find the right match of, if you, budget hours is so important. For that size yard, what's the best way to estimate the budget hours, the materials, whatever it may be. So I think those conversations they've led to a lot of really productive, perspective for us where we're looking at exactly what's happening and seeing how we can streamline that.
That's for projects, right? So the price book being able to take what I think as an estimator in terms of components and materials and supplies and 3 feet of pipe and all this thing, and compile it as quick as possible to get a price to the customer, but on the back end have more information, more data, better pricing information. For recurring jobs, the simple, fast way that we want to be able to get an estimate is over the phone. I don't have to go visit the property in person. Ideally, I actually do it instant quote form on my website, and the customer just puts their card information, selects exactly their prices, they click accept. That's going to go on the unscheduled work tab, and I will put it on the schedule. Let's walk through the fact that I think this is actually something I've talked about for years. We've used this at Augusta for years, and that is the instant quote forms. This is something that we're looking at in 2026 and trying to infuse into the software now that we have the rails of unscheduled work and waitlist and the architecture to be able to support this. Talk to me a little bit from your perspective, Nathan, about the instant quote forms and the value you see, and then from the design perspective, and then also from a customer's perspective, what is this problem that we're trying to solve?
Yeah, so instant quote really builds on what currently exists as work requests, and work requests, help top of funnel. They're a little bit blunt in terms of it's a one size fits all. You can't create different work requests depending on different customer type or different seasonality, and you really don't get much beyond here's a big text field. Tell us what you want. Which is better than nothing, but this feature set of Pricebook, being able to accurately model the world how you understand it, for whether it's for a project job and it's very particular, or it's, hey, here's our lawn mowing, here's how it scales depending on size, and we can kind of like set those pricing rules and we know how that works. Now that you can model that, you can create an external facing intake for that allows customers to self-select, include their payment information, and get all the way past having to deal with a customer service representative to like get a price quote, to request a service on a particular day.
And I think one thing that you point out is really good. The work request form, we have it in Copilot now, right? There's limitations in the design. Some people will go design their own in Jotform or another tool, Paperform, and then put that on their website. I think the thing that I see so many times is, even when we look at instant quote forms and the conversion, because ultimately when I send someone to my website, I am focused on how many of those people just give me their information to give them a quote.
Yep.
That's traditionally my conversion rate. When we look at instant quotes, about 3% of people drop off when we ask for their address, because it's implied that you need to know my address in order to give me a price.
Yep.
It is 30% drop off on a quote or a form that does not say I'm going to give you a price, because I don't want to give you my personal information. And so little things like this, we've noticed even Augusta across tens of thousands of instant price forms, that is so powerful for these simple recurring jobs that can be done over the phone, or that can be done ideally instant quotes, because ultimately I'm trying to save the time of someone on the phone or an estimator going and visiting the property. And better than anything, it works 24/7. They get a card on file and I'm off to the races. From a customer's perspective and what you've seen from our members, why has this been important for their workflow to save admin time, reduce the amount of calling people back? You can't get the wrong phone number was submitted on the form, all this other stuff that we run into.
Yeah, one of the big competitive advantages we have is that Augusta is our sister company. And so you guys have been kind of spearheading this on your own, kind of cobbling together a couple of different technologies. And we've been able to kind of learn and observe. And I think we're going to be picking out the really key pieces of how do we keep this extraordinarily simple. And one of the reasons this is shown after Pricebook is because Pricebook is going to be what ultimately enables these forms. So as a user in Copilot, going to be able to set up a form that's very simple. Here's my few different services, and the form is up. And having the capability to add or remove fields, based on the reporting that you're getting back, and just having these really simple, really straightforward, right native in the platform, so you're not having to use, like you said, Paperform or other tools.
One thing I was calculating the other day with a group of owners that came in, we were calculating the real cost of closing a job. Everyone thinks of customer acquisition cost as the cost of the ads to get the customer, but really you're paying for traffic to get to your site. And submit a form, hopefully. One thing that is not taken into account is the fact if I'm doing drive-by, if I go back, if I'm doing a drive-by for every, let's just call it mowing, a recurring job, let's just say I have 10 estimates and 6 of them get accepted. Well, let's go half, 5 of them get accepted. That means if I drive for 35 minutes, 40 minutes to go visit one property, I've got to multiply that by 10. That's how long I am spending to get 5 new jobs.
Right.
And so when we actually calculated, we looked at the fact that by the time you look at admin time, someone calling, then estimator going out and driving, visiting the property, then coming back, putting together the quote, sending it out, waiting, doing follow-up 5 times, then getting their card information afterwards. We looked at around $95 was the cost of a lawn service, if accepted, because of all the people that didn't accept, and just the drive time, the admin time. And what we found was even more key was the type of customer that signed up at an instant quote versus the type of person that was kicking the tires, asking for the quote just because they submitted their information on a form.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the real power of the instant quotes, and then be able to have that directly integrated into Copilot to where the card information comes across. Because I've always said, like, until someone gives you money, it's just a bunch of digits on a screen.
Right.
I want their card information so I can ding that card as soon as I show up and not worry about overdue invoices, payments that I am owed but not getting paid.
Yep.
So
Card come in a format that's ready to come through.
translate.
It's already ready to create the job. It's already in estimate form. I think that's
that's a good
such a
point.
big part of it.
It's not saving the drive time, but it's saving that clerical work. That inbound being valuable and low friction is so important that you guys have invested in Augusta so much time honing that, but you're still paying the cost of, we have to take this high-performing form, we have to take what it's told us and then go put it into Copilot. And there's just a multiplicative value of being able to have Copilot own that information, based on all of the pricing work that you've poured in. So like if your prices ever change, your inbound form changes, and as that information comes in, it's already got your pricing.
Yeah, and I spoke to it earlier in the live stream, and that is like, in the past, if I get accepted recurring job, I want a card on file. Well, the very first email I'm sending to someone after they accept a regular estimate, not instant quote, is, hey, I need your card information. Like, give me money.
Yep, right.
That email is going to spam, and there's a likelihood, there's a drop-off period that people don't take into account. Like, they accepted my estimate. Good, my close rate is good.
Yeah.
But what percentage of those people never actually gave you a card and you never did service for them? And there's a drop-off period. And even if it's 5 or 10%, it's too much. Versus just being like, you wanted this? Great. Give me your card information, and then I only get notified once that card information on file, estimate's accepted, I know their pricing, I have all the information, and that makes things much smoother on the admin side.
It does a great job of weeding out, like you said, the tire kickers. They're saying, here, I believe in you, I'm ready to give you money, even if they're not paying on the form.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I want to say thank you all for being here on the live stream. The entire team, I know there's so many of us that are working on the design, product, and the engineering side, but thank you, big thank you to all three of you. I think anyone that was watching 2 years ago, I went back, we had like 300 people on that live stream, and I was like, guys, this is the time to join Copilot, and it's been 2 years since I've been able to do that, and able to say, like, this is a great platform for you to move your business into. The future of it is actually, like, one thing, our values at Augusta is constant improvement, and I think the thing that when I look at Copilot is, it is not necessarily the best platform at every single aspect of the platform now, but the rate at which we're moving and where the future of the company is going is something I can confidently tell everyone, like, this is the ship you want to be on, and I'm really thankful for all of you giving me that confidence to be able to do that. So,
Thank you, man.
All right,
Yeah, awesome.
thank you.
Thanks.
All right, let's clear out of here, move out, we'll keep moving forward in the live stream. Give them a little clap session in the chat there. Thank you, guys. Get this table out of the way. Another microphone here. There you go. Nice table here. Fantastic. All right. All right, let's continue on here. So I know I alluded to it a little bit with the team. Here, I'll move that microphone for you. There. All right, so Copilot CRM got a bad name from bug hell we went through 2024. And I kind of alluded to it with the team. But a lot of people in the community tried it and they got burned. A lot of you did, especially the larger companies. Some stayed, and I really do appreciate it. And others left, and I completely understand, especially for the larger companies that were doing 2-3 million plus in revenue. There was a lot of issues because of so many people got in, and just the amount of bugs that came as a result of spammers getting in and sending out millions of emails. And we had open gate for free users and just demolishing so many elements of deliverability. It was bad, and we worked through our way in that in 2024. But I wanted to say thank you to everyone that did stay. It made it possible to hire the people and bring on the team that you've just seen, and the rest of the team, over 30, 40 people brought onto the team to make it what it is today. And so I just want to say thank you. But Copilot is not the same company today as it was 2 years ago. We have a new team, and you met some of them, a new code base, and we need to turn the page and start to write the next chapter. I want to give you a little bit of background. So I registered the name Copilot Software LLC in summer of 2022. Well, just a few months later, in October 2022, ChatGPT 3 was released. That's really when AI started to become like a buzzword and popular in the common vocabulary of most people. Copilots started popping up everywhere, whether it be Breeze, which is inside of HubSpot, and then there's actually a video of Jobber versus Copilot. That Copilot logo is not ours. That is actually from Microsoft, because Microsoft released Copilot and Copilot.com in 2023. So very confusing. People started slapping AI on everything. Just as like, if you just slap AI on your logo or .ai, immediately your valuation was more. And it was mostly to impress investors, increase their valuation, get their next round of funding from private equity. Now, I want to be clear, AI is very important and useful when it comes to software and building systems, but it does not do the rugged work that home service demands every day. When I started the company, when I started Copilot, the word Copilot was meant to be the second pilot in a plane, the sidekick, the helper, the guide, the person that allows you to be able to fly the plane safely. But it became synonymous with artificial intelligence. It became politicized, debated. It killed many jobs, whether it be white-collar jobs or even blue-collar jobs and entry-level positions. So I waited. I didn't want to change the name without having a specific purpose. It needed to be fundamentally different. I wanted to feel like a tool used by home service business owners every day that did the hard work that they were used of doing. It worked hard. It was battle tested and reliable, and most of all, it was dependable. It needed to represent the grit and strength of the tradespeople that use it every day. I started thinking about what represented all of this. I asked, what do owners rely on when the going gets tough? A chain. A chain is more than steel. It's trust. In home services, a chain is rugged. Here, I'll show you. I got you one. A chain is reliable, dependable, and built to carry heavy loads without fail. No weak spots, no missing links. This is actually extremely heavy. Goodness gracious. When a truck is broken down, when a mower is stuck in the mud, when a load needs to be secured, we use a chain. So I want to demonstrate something real quick. All right, so now this is, you could say this is a chain. Could carry some weight. It has a little bit of strength to it. It could carry something, I'm sure, I don't know, a couple hundred pounds. And you're like, well, I want to upgrade. I want to get real links. I don't want to just have like a cord looking thing. Hey, well, we can upgrade to this plastic chain. And I'm sure it could pull something. Might not want to tow like a car with it, but it certainly has some strength to it. And as I look at, what Copilot's been in the past, and even other softwares that we've used, like they have functionality. They have the dependability of pulling small loads, but you're like, well, I want metal chain. I want links in a metal chain. Can someone come here? I want to show this actually. Thanks, Stephen. This is a chain, but I want to show you, here, can you hold this? Just hold it like, there you go. Even in times when, if you got a truck stuck, you're not going to use this little thing to try to pull yourself out of the mud. But let's see what this does. He was worried about OSHA violations. He needs some glasses. But it can still be cut. Thank you, that's all I need. Oh, actually, you know what? Here, let's try this. Let's use the real big chain. Let's use this one. Like this thing is actually, I already know this because we tried to cut this at Lowe's and they couldn't even cut the chain. But it's impossible to cut this because it's dependable, it's reliable, it's rugged. Thank you, that's all I needed. Thanks, man. And so the chain really represented everything I wanted from what I thought Copilot needed to be. And so this is a chain. You can see here on the logo, this is a chain. There's 3 links. And if you look at, this is what you see on the screen is just this. Here, I'll go to this screen here. Can you cut this one? Those 3 links, there, right there. Those 3 links. And it has 3 links because, as we talked about in the Copy and Paste Millionaire, there's 3 departments to every home service business: sales, operations, and admin. And if these 3 departments have a strong connection, the business becomes unbreakable. And I present to you a new reimagined brand for Copilot CRM. Because in the past, we've done a little bit. We've been reliable, we've been useful to some degree, but it was able to be severed. It was able to be cut. It wasn't reliable as we would want. So a new reimagined brand for Copilot CRM. I present the operating system that allows the Copy and Paste Millionaire to be used. I present to you Homeworks. Homeworks links sales, operations, and admin. Grow without breaking. Because that's truly what Homeworks is built to do. And that's why the Copy and Paste Millionaire in the book, and what we're trying to do by getting 100,000 of these copies out in the hands of business owners, is to allow you to grow your business without breaking mentally, without your family being broken apart, without relationships, the physical, your knees, your shoulders, because you don't have the systems in the business for it to run without you. Financially broken. So many business owners, I see thousands of home service business owners and their profit and loss statements and their balance sheets, and they have no money, and yet they work 60, 70, 80 hours a week. The ability to be able to grow without breaking spiritually. the ability to create connections with your family, with those that you love, with your community, and not let your business pull you away from those things. Sales, operations, and admin. All connected so you can grow without breaking. Home.works. Works is the URL, so home.works. It's available now, and you can join today at Copilot CRM. We're going to keep the Copilot CRM until spring 2026. So if you go to home.works, you'll see a landing page. It's going to take you back over to Copilot CRM for now. But in spring 2026, we'll be completely moving over all the branding, the entire brand of Copilot CRM over to HomeWorks. Now, we are going to have a deal for just today if you sign up for the enterprise level membership. And so if you go to the pricing page on copilotcrm.com, you'll see this. Again, the HomeWorks branding will all happen next spring. That's when we make the official change over. For now, we're really just focusing on developing the best feature set for going into spring rush. All right, so the deal for today and for this weekend is going to be if you sign up for the enterprise level membership on Copilot CRM, second thing I need you to do is complete the 12-point onboarding checklist. So it's like set up your logo, set up your payments, import your customers, do that 12-point checklist. And then the third thing is you're going to get your first month refunded and one more extra free month. All right, so sign up like normal through the enterprise level. You'll get that first month refunded as well as the next month. So you could look at it as like all of December, all of January, completely free. So that's 2 months for free. And if you look at the value of that, it's over $500 in value. Again, completely free. You get text messages, emails, the wait list, automations, everything we've talked about today, no limits. And you can cancel anytime with one click. So even if you do get those 2 free months and it's not for you, you can cancel very easily. So here's my suggestion, and take it or leave it. I recommend you sign up, get the refund by doing the 12-point onboarding checklist, and get the next month free. That gives you all of December, all of January for free. I would recommend send one text message to all of your customers, all right? And in that text message, I don't recommend making some big promotion that has dollars and cents in it and big, long, just make it really, really personal. And promote one service. So maybe it's fall cleanups, maybe it's spring cleanups, maybe it's snow plowing, maybe it's Christmas lights, whatever your service is for this time of year, promote one service that your customers are currently asking for. And do it in a personal tone. Don't make it super promotional. And this is my recommendation because I genuinely believe if you take advantage of these next 2 months for free, you send out a text message, just one text message to all of your customers and promote one service with a personal tone, it'll pay for itself. This is an example from just last week where my general manager from the local shop, and this is actually a text message to me because I am on their list, one of my rental properties they service. And so I got this text message. It says here, "Hi Mike, Tim here, and the leaves are falling, and so are service deals. Augusta is booking fast for November cleanups, including leaf hauling, gutters, and final mows. If you need this or any other service, reply with yes and any details, and I will do a drive-by estimate." This is coming from Copilot CRM to thousands of people inside of my location's database. So this is the actual example, some screenshots from the text message that went up. That's the same one I just read to a customer, and they're responding back, just texting right back, asking for service. Now, here's the results. This is after 24 hours of sending out the messages. So there's very high likelihood that in day 2, day 3, day 4, there was more, probably double or triple, but just within 24 hours of sending the message, here's what we got. 100 plus responses, 53 estimates were sent out from people wanting to say, hey, I want an estimate. 15 one-time jobs were sold, and 3 recurring services were sold. Okay, so 18 out of 53, that's about a 30% close rate. Again, these are costing you absolutely $0 in terms of customer acquisition costs. There's no ads, they're just in our database, and we send them a text message. So in 24 hours, this location generated $7,600 of one-time cleanups. They're doing the fall cleanup thing. And also got 3 recurring services, which on average is around $200 per month. So an extra $600 per month. This is in 24 hours. Again, let alone day 2, day 3, day 4. Probably a doubling or tripling of that amount over the course of just a few days. 53 estimates. What would your business do if in one text message, within 24 hours, you get 53 estimates from your customers for free, and get 18 accepted jobs within 24 hours. Here's an example. These are, once an estimate is accepted, this is his inbox, just all the estimates getting accepted within the first 24 hours of sending out a text message. Now, the text messages for this event, this live stream that you've participated in, the text messages that I sent out to all of you had a 98% open rate within 24 hours and 32% click-through rate. That's the text messages. Now, email messages for this event had a 38% open rate and a 2% click-through rate. That's crazy. Let's go back. Text messages, 98% open rate, which means almost everyone opened it up, and almost a third, 32% of people clicked on the link that I was sharing. The email messages, this is all of you that I sent out for this live stream, and I added this out just yesterday. 38% open rate, so less than half, and only a 2% click-through rate. The same exact message, one on email, one on text message. So the fastest way to increase your close rate by 20%, the fastest way to triple your response rate to upsell marketing messages like the one that Tim sent for fall cleanups. What's the fastest way to do that? Send text messages instead of emails. And text messages are so fundamentally at the core of what Copilot does. Copilot is one of the only home service CRMs that allow for mass text messages without third-party integrations. So inside of the system, without having to plug it into something else or go to a different software and have another subscription, it's all in one place and you can do mass text to tens of thousands of customers. For example, my location, the one I was just showing you, has 14,000 contacts. If I remember correctly, about 9,000 of them have a cell phone number. Okay. So one mass text message from MailChimp, so if I had a third-party integration from something like Jobber or another software, if I was using MailChimp to send out text messages, it would have cost me between $310 and $540. And if you're gonna go price check me, that's fine. Just realize that when they say per text credit or SMS credit, most of these messages that we send out are between 3 and 5 credits per text message that we send out from Copilot, based upon the length and based upon how long the offer is. So this month, so if you're gonna use the offer today for the Black Friday deal, and my recommendation is to get your first month refunded, you can probably do your onboarding checklist in a matter of a day. Get the first month refunded, get your second month for free, and then a couple accepted jobs from this text message blast that you can send in the first week, that will pay for the rest of your subscription inside of Copilot for all of 2026. So if you've seen the systems that we've talked about in the Copy and Paste Millionaire, and I truly believe that Copilot, soon to be Homeworks, is the best tool to make those implemented in your business without you having to duplicate and create them yourself or cobble together different software and forms and all of these things that we're building, make it the easiest to build a business that you can leave. And so I've done this to be able to make sure that over the next couple months, just one text message, you could send a second text message, send them for free from Copilot during December and be able to get the rest of the value for 2026 in terms of the cost of joining the software. You can get all of that with a matter of just 1 or 2 text messages. But wait, there's more. Copilot has a 365-day money-back guarantee when you join the enterprise level. This is something that we've had for a while. And this is the actual guarantee. You can go to the website, you can click on copilotcrm.com/guarantee, and you'll see this. I guarantee that your revenue or profit will increase by at least 10% within 1 year of using the Copilot CRM enterprise level subscription. If your tax returns show this wasn't accomplished and you cancel your subscription, I will refund all of your first year dues. 365 days to use Copilot, implement the copy and paste Millionaire systems inside the software, and I am that confident that you will grow your business both in revenue and in profits. Not one other single home service software offers this guarantee. Not one single one. Let alone pretty much any software, honestly. I can't think of a single one. So the Black Friday deal, you must sign up before midnight December the 3rd. All right, today's Friday. You got Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. On December the 3rd, that's next Wednesday, you gotta sign up before then and then complete your onboarding checklist, those 12 steps, by January 1st. So it gives you about a month to figure out the 12-point checklist for getting onboarded. So you got an entire month, and I'll give you your first month refunded, as well as your next month, January, for free. Once you finish the 12-point onboarding checklist, the support team will automatically reach out to you for the refund and the free month. So you're not gonna have to like harass the team, like, I finished the checklist. You will finish the checklist. They will then go and validate each of those things and make sure you did each of those, and they'll reach out to you for the refund and the free month. As long as you've completed all 12 tasks, you'll get the refund and the free month thereafter. Now, I promised everyone that would show up here today live would receive a gift worth $597. And this fine gift has been sitting here this entire time. Pay for performance is required to build a business that runs without you. The harder your team works, the more money they make. That's in essence what P4P, pay for performance, is. P4P is a cornerstone to the copy and paste method. Because if I'm expecting my team to work hard and be efficient and make profit while I'm gone, they need to be compensated like an owner. And the way that you're compensated is on commission, which is if the business makes money, you make money. And that is what P4P does for your technicians out in the field. The harder they work, the more money they can make. So I wanted to give you all free access to P4Psoftware.com. So you can implement the systems of the Copy and Paste Millionaire, and as you go through the book, you're able to take exactly what you're reading and just go do it. I'm gonna give it to you for free, not for 7 days, not for 14 days, not for 30 days, not even for 60 days. 90 days free at P4Psoftware.com. For everyone here today live, so if you go to P4Psoftware.com, you can get a 90-day free trial. Just sign up for any subscription level. It's usually $199 per month if you have 5 or more employees. So $199 per month, 3 months, that's $597 worth of value. And this offer expires December the 1st. So you gotta get in the next couple days. You can cancel anytime with one click. So try it out for 90 days, implement all the systems we talk about inside of the Copy and Paste Millionaire, allow your team to be able to see how much more they could earn on P4P versus hourly, see the systems in action to be able to know how much more confident you could operate your business without micromanaging because your team is compensated the same way as you, which is the more efficiently the work is done, the more they make, more money they can make. All right, I want to recap the Black Friday deals. Going back to what we're trying to do by giving away 100,000 of copies of the book. So the leadership hat is on the left. We have the solo operator. If you donate the 10 books, you're going to also be getting the full print marketing package. It's usually worth $499 at lawncaremedia.com. Has over 80 templates of yard signs, door hangers, postcards, flyers. Has instant quote door hangers and everything that we talk about inside the Copy and Paste Millionaire if you're just getting started. Now, if you're a working GM, if you have a little larger business, 250,000 to 750,000 in annual revenue, I want to actually take the concepts of the book and then make it very applicable and customized to your individual business on the Copy and Paste Millionaire Virtual Workshop. Now, in addition to the workshop, you're also going to get the print marketing pack. So everything from the solo operator rolls into that second one. So that regular $499 that you would usually pay Lawn Care Media for that full print marketing package, you also get that on the Working GM donation tier. And in that Copy and Paste Millionaire Virtual Workshop, we're gonna walk through exactly your roadmap to implement this in your business. Now, you also get the 20 bucks. Oops, sorry, went back. All right, third one, full-time GM. This is a 2-day intensive in-person here at our headquarters. This is in the new studio, and this is upstairs in our headquarter building. You'd be able to come here for 2 days, and we would make sure that we really drill in and create a plan for you to scale multiple locations or use the GM Plus model to have managers in place and create that leadership team. All right, that's a 100-book offer. Now, if you're the GM Plus, you already have a 7-figure business, and you're thinking about franchising, I want to bring you here for the $20,000 per ticket that we are going to charge for this in the future after this launch is less than half of what I paid for when I started about 7-8 years ago thinking about franchising. And the value that you will get in these 2 days, I can guarantee you will be better than anything else you can get on the market. Any other consultant, any other book that you read will not cover the stuff we're going to be talking about in this franchise advisory. And that's the 400 book offer. So the 4 donation tiers are only for this book launch. So if you get this somehow, like someone sends you a picture or you get a video on the weekend, you somehow get your hands on the recording, in a couple weeks, the links that I've shared today will not work. So let's go over the best and worst case scenarios. If you're thinking about, should I make the donation? Do I want to unlock some of these offers? Do I want to give away some of these books to people that I know or people that could use it in 2026? Let's go over the best and worst case scenarios and just determine if using one of these donation tiers would be a good fit for you. So best case scenario is you get some really big discounts on tools and private training. Another thing, you grow your business. Another best case scenario is you help raise the level of professionalism in the industry, and that rising tide floats all boats more because we ultimately will all get to charge more if we're able to share this message of the Copy and Paste Millionaire with all of our industry friends. The goal, getting the Copy and Paste Millionaire book into the hands of 100,000 home service business owners. That's my goal in 2026, and I'm very appreciative for everyone that's already, I can see, joining alongside me. I really do appreciate it. So let's go over the worst case scenario, because trust me, I understand the apprehension. First off, Mike, you're not going to donate the books. You're just going to take the money, and then at checkout, you can determine if you want to get a few. Like if you get the 100 book offer, for example, you can get 10 sent to you and then donate the other 90. That's fine. You can have all 100 sent to you. It's up to you. There's a toggle, and you can determine how many books you want sent to you versus I donate on your behalf. But let's just assume that you're saying, well, I don't believe you're going to donate the books. Valid. Or that the donation gifts that I'm giving today are worthless. So I'm going to go over these 2 worst case scenarios and address these concerns. So first off, I'm going to share the books that people donate with turnaround show applicants that we cannot visit in person. So if you get a 400 book offer and you get 10 shipped to you, the other 390 I am going to donate in 2026. So one of the people I'm going to be donating them to is the hundreds of applications we get for turnaround shows that we can't get to. I can't be there in person. We'll send them a book on your behalf. Also, I'm going to pay for ads. I'm going to target home service business owners to give the book away to those that need it most. So you will see ads starting in January and February for home service business owners for me to be able to give this book away. And I guarantee you, if you're like worried about, well, what if they're not valuable? What if the intensive in person, the 2-day event is not worth it? What if I get here and I didn't really enjoy it? Or I want a franchise and I came and I wasn't really impressed with the education that was given. Well, I guarantee a full refund if the in-person intensive and the franchise advisory events are not worth it to you. Now, Lawn Care Media, that package for all the print marketing is bought hundreds, if not thousands of times every year. And we continue to sell it every single day for $499. So the fact is you're getting the books and that already you'll be able to implement directly in your business. But in terms of the in-person intensive and the franchise advisory events, I just guarantee you you're going to come to these events and be super happy with the level of education you receive. So let's go over real quick, recapping what these donation tiers are. The solo operator, you donate 10 bucks. You get all 80 plus print marketing templates for free. These are Canva and Photoshop designs. So if you like Photoshop, you can edit there, or some of them are in Canva, the more updated, recent ones, instant quotes. You can modify the verbiage very easily. This is for door hangers, flyers, postcards, and yard signs. Now this is for the green industry only. So if you're in another industry, I'd recommend a higher tier or give the designs away to someone that you know. Donate 10 books. That's about $349 in book donations. And again, every single day we sell this package already for $499. You're getting the 10 books and you're getting that $499 package for $349 in book donations. Here's that list of all the different types of services inside of that design package. Everything from hardscaping, irrigation. We got in the top right-hand corner, you can see like the instant quote. The combo one has all 3 services, like fall cleanups, or it's cleanups, mulch installs, and mowing all in one. But we use instant quotes hundreds of thousands of times to be able to get more customers. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff in there, the bonuses, like the marketing tracker, estimate documents, just a lot of stuff. If you're a solo operator, this is a gold mine for you. I promise you, you will not regret it. So how you can redeem this one, again, go to Amazon, buy 10 copies today, and just email me a picture when you get the books. So I depend on you getting the books and then giving those to 10 people in your local market, sending your friends, family, people in a Facebook group you might know, WhatsApp group in your local area. Awesome. Just send me a picture of you and the 10 books, and within 7 days of us getting that picture, we'll give you access to lawncaremedia.com to be able to get all those designs for free. Now again, tens of thousands of designs have been sold on lawncaremedia.com. The full marketing collection is usually sold for $499. Essentially, you save $150 and you get the 10 books on top of it. Again, you can go MikeAndes.com/Black Friday or just scan the QR code up there and that'll take you right there. So 10 books, all the print marketing templates you could ever imagine for any green industry. And I think it's a fantastic deal for any solo operator. All right, now if you're working GM size, 20 books is the donation. After reading this book, I really want to get my hands dirty in your individual business, ask questions from you to make sure that anything inside the book that's not clear to your business and individualized and tailored is answered. So get access to the private copy and paste Millionaire online workshop with Mike Andes, that's with me. We'll be doing these throughout 2026. Donate the 20 books, it's about $699 in book donations. You're gonna get the private Zoom workshop with myself, and you're also gonna get the full recording. So I know sometimes people get nervous when you start asking questions. I'll get the recording to you, cut up, and you can have that forever. So inside of that GM donation, that working GM donation tier, you're gonna get a 1-hour workshop. I'm gonna walk you through the copy and paste Millionaire method in a lot of depth. We're gonna decide for your business between scaling with multiple locations or driving one location using the GM Plus model past $3 million. In addition to the workshop, right afterwards, I'm gonna do between 1 to 2 hours of Q&A, and I just want you to bring your toughest questions. After you read the book, I'll give you specific, actionable answers. I want you to customize the copy and paste Millionaire system for your business, and we will create a roadmap. You will come off of that Zoom call, and you'll have a roadmap and a game plan to implement the book and everything in terms of the systems inside of it for your business. You're gonna learn about the $1 million fork in the road where you need to decide between multiple locations or am I building out a leadership team? Hiring, training, compensating general managers, and building a mid-level management team. We're gonna figure out how to install recurring revenue and instant quotes in your individual business. And figure out when I start new locations and I start to copy and paste them, like the book talks about, how do I have a grand opening and come with a lot of recurring revenue right from the get? We're talking about leadership, and also think about your exit. How are you gonna eventually sell the business or pass it along, and your legacy thereafter. So usually at mikeandes.com/coaching, I sell 50-minute coaching calls for $19.99, so $2,000. This is gonna be a 2+ hour workshop, and you get the 20 books, and you save over $1,300. And you also get the $499 lawn care media marketing package for free. All right, so within 7 days, you'll get the access. Once you've made this donation, you'll be getting access to lawn care media and the full 80 templates that are on there. Okay, 20 books, copy and paste Millionaire workshop online. All 80 templates for the print marketing is gonna be accessed if you donate the 20 books today. Again, for the 20 book package and above, you can choose a toggle of how many you want shipped to you. So at checkout, we will ship you as many as you would like, up to 20 or all of them. And then if you're like, well, I only have 1 or 2, I only need 1 or 2, I don't really have a lot of people to give them away to, that's fine. I will do all the donations for you in 2026. And again, you will see the ads and we'll be shipping those out to a lot of people. Now, I want to go over the exclusive Facebook ads training. We just added this in to the 20 book donation tier. You're going to get exclusive Facebook ads training. This is for the working GM donation tier to 20 books and above. So 20 books, 100 books, or 400 books, you're going to be getting this exclusive Facebook ads training. I'm going to be creating a webinar for you in 2026, in spring. I'm going to show you exactly how I spent $5,000 per day on Facebook and Instagram. All right, I've spent anywhere as low as 100 or 200 and scaled it all the way to $5,000 a day. I'm gonna show you how to use direct message, lead forms, and web leads with the correct tracking, and making sure you have a strategy to dominate spring 2026. This is a picture of an actual ad campaign with 5 or 6 different campaigns, and you can see the cost per lead and daily what we're spending there. I think the budget there is like $1,500 or $2,000 a day on that specific campaign. And I'm really tweaking this to the updated Andromeda update. So Andromeda is the most recent version of the Facebook ad platform that is really leaning a lot on AI, and it's completely changed how you need to handle creative on Facebook ads. I have not been this excited about an ads platform since Facebook probably 7 to 8 years ago. In terms of what you can do, the amount of targeting that can be done, and just how powerful it is now. And it's changing almost weekly. And so in full disclosure, this training that I give will not be useful in probably a year or two. It's going to be very native to this spring rush, but if you're looking to grow and you want to have a platform that you can actually spend on and have actionable results that are tracked and be able to grow the business, I promise you this probably hour to 2 hour training, once I'm completed with it, is going to blow your mind. It'll absolutely open up huge opportunity for you in spring rush. And again, it is time sensitive. It's not going to work in 6 to 12 months. And I want to make it very focused to this spring rush for you to be able to grow the business. I'm going to show you how to create video ads that sell, set up your ad tracking correctly, retarget existing customers and past leads, because those are usually your lowest cost per lead, is like the people that have already been to your website. Use AI features to target correctly and get through the learning phase of an ad set. If an ad set is in learning phase and you're adjusting it and tweaking it, in the past that might have been fine to keep adding more creative. Now if it's in learning phase, you gotta be very careful with it. Create a lookalike audience to have your cost per lead. Where I'm gonna take all my CSV, I'm gonna take all my customers inside of Copilot, I'm gonna put those into Facebook and say, hey, show you the ad to more people like this. Because these people have already bought from me. So there's a good chance that people looking like them on Facebook are going to buy again. Customers, the whole objective of doing these ads and doing it in the correct way and targeting correctly is for customers in the spring for you to say, I see you everywhere, every time you visit them at their property. We're going to talk about creating organic content that serves to hone in your ads audience. Think about if you could show your ads to only the people that have viewed your videos or watched your content before. The likelihood of them buying so much higher than just showing your ad to random people inside your market. This is the first time I've ever done this, and it will be the only time I will do this Facebook ads training. Ad strategy changes so quickly with the algorithm updates, and it just makes it really hard to make this content public. So even if I put it on the course, it'd be old within 6 months. If I put it on YouTube, it's old within 6 months. So this is a one-time thing. I will not do this again, but I'm using this as a way to be able to make sure that you take all these systems in the business, but then you have the constraint of leads taken away for Spring Rush. So again, that is for anyone that offers and donates today the 20 book offer, the 100 book offer, or the 400 book offer. Any of those three will get that training this coming spring. Now the full-time GM donation tier, that's 100 books you're gonna be donating, and you're gonna be able to visit our headquarter office in 2026. And yes, that is our new logo that's already on the building. 2-day copy and paste Millionaire intensive. It's gonna be in person at the headquarter building downstairs in the conference room. Donate 100 books, that's about $3,499 in book donations. You're gonna get 2 tickets. You're gonna learn from my general managers, regional managers, and my leadership team. You'll be able to tour Command Center and see it in action. And this is capped at 20 seats, so we can be in the conference room. It's gonna be very tailored to your individual business. And probably when you're showing up, you'll probably see, I think they're hiring 40 more people here at the office. And so you'll be able to see all of Command Center in action. What you're gonna learn on day 1, tactical growth, how to find and hire general managers for multiple locations. And talking about the scaling up the hub and spoke model, where I have one core location, usually where my Command Center starts, and I individually go off and start other locations from that hub. We're going to talk about building management for sales, operations, and admin, just as the book describes. How to launch a Command Center for admin support, installing instant quotes and recurring revenue systems in your business, and tailoring it exactly to you. This is 2 days, not 2 hours, like the copy and paste Millionaire workshop online. This is in person for 2 solid days with myself. On day 2, we're going to talk about wealth and legacy, family succession done the smart way, third-party sales, and seller financing strategies. We're going to talk about maximizing your valuation before an exit. If you're trying to sell, if you're trying to pass this on to someone else, maximizing the value. We're talking about ESOPs, employee stock owner programs, where you can sell the business effectively to your team without losing ownership or selling it to someone who might run the thing into the ground, or especially if you're concerned about your local market and your reputation, being able to have your team care more, even more than profit sharing and P4P, is ownership in the business. trust structures, and tax-efficient estate planning. So if you were to get hit by a bus, how do we make sure that the business still stays on track, that people don't lose their jobs? And we'll talk about diversifying your assets into real estate, other businesses, tax advantage accounts like 401ks, IRAs to reach a $5 million net worth. That's ultimately the goal of that 2-day session. And again, there's a guarantee. If you attend every session and if you don't believe it was worth it, request a refund before leaving. Just come up to me like, hey, I didn't think it was worth it. I'll return your full investment, including your book donation. So all $3,400, like I will give you back your money. So to recap the full-time GM donation tier for the intensive 2 days. 2 days usually costs $4,000 per ticket, and you can see that at mikegandys.com/HQ. You're gonna get 100 books. You're gonna get 2 tickets. They're usually $8,000. That's usually, so all in all, it's $11,499 of value. You're gonna get all of that for $3,499. You save $8,000 if you donate on the live stream today. So 100 books, and you get to come see me and the team, learn from us in person, and you'll be at the headquarter building there behind me. So how to do this? Go to mikegandys.com/Black Friday, scan the QR code up there, and at checkout, you will choose if you want me to ship the books to you, take 6 to 8 weeks, or if you want to donate the books to small business owners. And you can toggle as many as you want shipped to you versus I donate on your behalf to other owners. All right, the GM Plus donation tier, 400 books donation. Give it to friends, local businesses, or I'll donate it for you. You visit our HQ office here in 2026. It's a 2-day franchise advisory. It's gonna be in person at that table. So it's gonna be very personal. It's capped at 12 seats. You'll learn from my franchise development team, and you get 2 tickets. Learn from my franchise development team, all our sales team, what we do in operations, command center. You'll be at a tour command center and see it in action. So here's some of the things I'll talk about. Insurance traps that no one tells you about when you're trying to set up a franchise, how to fund growth without debt or private equity, compliance pitfalls that I fell into and how to avoid them that cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars, setting up a franchise advisory board, how to set up daily communication with owners, how to set up a preferred vendor and a coaching program, and why we give the initial franchise fee back. I truly believe you can build a franchise and have multiple locations and use the franchisor method that we talk about, scaling without debt, without private equity, and do so in a way that's best for the owners. We're gonna talk about how we achieve an NPS, Net Promoter Score, of 87, that's higher than Apple. How to train new owners and create a learning management system using software. We use the AI to scrub every word and make a searchable database. How to manage social media and marketing for franchisees. We're gonna talk about how we ranked in the top 500 franchises according to entrepreneur.com. How we set up a franchise fee forgiveness program for our technicians to become owners as part of the 21 stages of success. And we're talking about how to maximize your enterprise value for an exit if you're trying to sell the franchise. Again, this comes with the exact same 2-day franchise advisory guarantee. If you attend every session and you don't believe it was worth it, request a refund before leaving and I'll refund your entire investment, including the book donation of $13,000. All right, so usually this, and we will sell this for $20,000 per ticket. You can see the product at mikegandys.com/advisory. As we head into 2026 and after this launch, this will be for sale for $20,000 per ticket. And I know that people will be buying it. I paid a lot more than that to get the advice that we're gonna be sharing in 2 days. You're gonna get the 400 books, 2 tickets that are usually worth 40 grand, 20,000 in pop. That's $53,000 worth of value. And as long as you get it today, with the 400 book donation, you're gonna get for $13,996. So you save 40 grand if you donate today on the book launch. Visit our HQ here in 2026, 2-day franchise advisory, again, from a different angle. There's our headquarter building with the new Homeworks logo and Augusta Lawn Care, and we're all in one spot here. So at checkout, when you scan the QR code or go to mikegandys.com/Black Friday, you can ship the books to you directly. It's gonna take us about 6 to 8 weeks. There's just so many books that are gonna be coming in. I can see coming in now. So it's gonna take us a while to get through them all, but we will get the books to you. Or if you just want a few, that's fine. We'll send you a few, and the rest of them we can donate for you on your behalf in 2026 to other small business owners. All these donation tiers are only valid this weekend. I want to be very clear. If you email the team, we will not honor them after this weekend. All right, it's just for the book launch. mikegandys.com/Black Friday. The links and QR codes will disappear next week. This is the only time the donation tiers will be in effect with the discounts. And you can see the product pages already on the website. We will sell the franchise advisory for $20,000 a ticket. We will sell the intensives, 2-day intensives for $4,000 a pop. So there you have it. Those are the leadership hats. Now, I want to be clear, there's limitations on how many spots we have available. I have a lot of things going on. We had to slot in where these times could go throughout 2026. There is a limitation. Now, I want to be very clear. If you run the math on our spots available, we only get to about 30,000 books donated. If you look at the 400 spots for the solo operator, after the 400, it'll stop. The link will not work. So 4,000 would be from that. If we get the 200 spots from the working GM, that tier, if all 200 get filled up, that's another 4,000. 120 spots for full-time GM. So that's 12,000 books. And then we only have 25 spots available for the franchise advisory. So only 25 spots available. And if we fill all those spots, which I expect to happen, that's gonna be 30,000 books. My plan is that in 2026, I'm gonna be donating about 6,000 books per month throughout the entire year. That's 72,000 books. So with your support and the donations today, our goal is to cap that rest at 30,000. That's what the 30,000 book donations today. If we can fill all those spots, we'll be able to get the 30,000 in book donations, and then I will fill in the other 70,000 throughout 2026. And just so everyone knows, it's 100% tax deductible in terms of this donation and the training that you get alongside of it. Now, I'm just gonna leave this here, screenshot this real quick, because this is going away in a matter of just a couple days after the book launch. Feel free to screenshot this. This is the recap of all the donation tiers. If you need to go over it with someone, if you need to compare it to the actual product cost, look at the pages that are on the mikeandys.com/Black Friday website, but these will be going away in just a matter of a couple days. Now, I'm gonna be answering all your questions because I can see you guys in the chat. You guys are crushing it. I appreciate you all showing up. I see the chat. It's a little distracting. We're gonna be getting to all of your questions. Made a conscious decision, given that it is the day after Thanksgiving, I wanted to make sure that you spent time with family and we didn't do a 12-hour live stream. I am going to be doing a marathon live stream. It's gonna be next Wednesday, December the 3rd. The team's been taking note of some of the top questions. We will answer those. We'll also do a call-in show. You can call me in and we will talk about your business, your questions, and hopefully offer some advice and help for you. So this is next Wednesday, December the 3rd at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's noon Eastern Standard if you're on the East Coast. But I look forward to seeing you there. We will answer as many of these questions as possible coming through. I really appreciate it. Just from all over the world and just in so many different industries, just thousands of people registered. I'm very humbled that you all spend the day here on the live stream and launching the book. So I hope it's helpful. I appreciate everyone that has donated and it's just overwhelming. Thank you. For those that we're sending the books to, we'll try to get those out in the next 6 to 8 weeks. I'm hoping to beat it by Christmas if we can. But I truly do appreciate it for everyone that's joining Copilot. Yeah, thank you. That's what makes it possible for us to have these great people and just be delivering on the roadmap. And so thank you so much. So make sure you go to mikeandys.com/Black Friday. If you're going for the Black Friday deal that we're having for today at Copilot, go to copilotcrm.com. You can check out home.works. The page is there, but it's going to reroute you over to Copilot for now, since in spring we will swap over to the HomeWorks branding. But go check that out. Use the texting. It's completely free in December for sending out those texts. I don't care how many you have. You save so much money. Book out your schedule for the next couple months. It'll pay for the rest of 2026 in terms of the software. And I truly believe that HomeWorks is the future operating system of everything we talk about inside the book. So whether you're a solo operator, a working GM, a full-time GM, in the GM Plus phase, I'm very humbled and thankful and grateful. Everything that I have is because of this community and the fact that we don't have to have private equity and we don't have to have other stakeholders. I'm very, very grateful for the autonomy to be able to run the business in the way I think is getting us closer to the mission of making home service business owners rich. And today is the first time that I've asked you to join me in that. And so to everyone that is donating, people that are joining Copilot, I'm deeply grateful and humble. And on behalf of my family and everyone that I'm able to provide for my team, I just want to say thank you. It means the world to me. And we will see you on Wednesday on the live stream. So thank you all so very much. I appreciate it. In the chat. See you guys. Tripping over the these chains. Cool. See you guys.